لا تقل القرآن خلق.
Alright, what's up, guys? So, as you already know, I just had a formal debate with Ken Rick Adam, Fearless for the Cross, on if the biblical and historical Jesus prophesied the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace. Yeah, he got washed. So, let's go over that.
Evening,
Obviously,
everybody.
I
So
went over
today
my
we are
intro.
gonna
also says that this is the oldest Jew prophet is 44 so
I want to go over his
empire in
intro
just
though,
70
real
years
quick.
it's
So, yeah, let me know when you're ready, Adam, so we can start your opening statement opposing this.
before I start, I just want to make something very clear. This debate is not about me proving someone wrong or he proving me wrong. But what this debate is about is getting one step closer in our quest to truth. So the claim we are doing today is that Jesus predicted the coming of Muhammad. And this is a very serious claim. And I believe that great claims require great evidence. I think it's just common sense to come to this conclusion. So this is not any ordinary claim, but an extraordinary claim. And to back this up, I just want to bring something else from the Bible. When the Bible predicts with regards to a prophet, it always mentions them in a very profound way. Let's take someone like Cyrus, for example. Let's turn our Bibles to Isaiah 44:28 and 45 verse.
So basically, he uses the argument Cyrus is mentioned by name. So I tried to, I did. I pressed him on this if Jesus is mentioned by name. And he says, yeah, he's mentioned as the Messiah. But, brother, that's not his last name, bruh. That is not his last name, bro. What are you talking about?
One. Throughout this
So,
passage, it talks about Cyrus.
and in case y'all didn't watch my opening, I gave him the name already. I gave him the name Ahmad found in the Torah, which Jesus alludes to, which the Quran also says in 61 verse 6.
It calls him out by name 150 years before he's even born. So it talks about them by name, or even if it does not talk about them by name, it talks about their tribe. In the case of Jesus, it talks about where he's going to be born. And I think this is very significant. Now, the helper, the Holy Spirit, Muslims frequently quote is John 14:26, where it says, the helper, the Holy Spirit will come to guide us into all truth. Muslims often
I didn't even bring up John at all in my opening. I don't know why he's using it. Like, I don't know what he
the
thought.
article.
He didn't, like, what kind of opening is this, bruh? Muslims will often use the least historical gospel. You're not seeing me using this.
Because just in the following verses, he goes on to say that this is the comforter, who is the Holy Spirit, who will come and live inside of us. I don't think Muhammad would come and live inside of us. Now, the claim that my brother made is that Paul is not the prophet to the Gentiles. And I think that is something every single historian would disagree with. Name a single historian who'd stand by with you in that claim. I think that's a serious claim, and it does not have enough proof to back it.
Well, of course, he preaches to Gentiles. That doesn't make him a prophet to the Gentile. Yeah, he preaches to he did preach to Gentiles. He specifically says he targets Gentiles and tells them that Jesus is fulfilled in the Old Testament, a book that they don't even have. He specifically does that because if he did that to Jews, none of them would believe it because he's contradicting the Old Testament scripture. That's why he specifically says he has to go target non-Jews. That doesn't mean that he's the prophet to the Gentiles that Jesus is talking about. That just means that he is a prophet who does preach to Gentile people. But I actually appreciate him for affirming that because he just concedes that that Paul does claim to be a prophet after Jesus. So he did concede that there is a prophet after Jesus. Wow.
It up. Now, his second claim was that in Daniel, it states that the Son of Man would come after Rome is divided. If we go back to the passage in Daniel, I'll just get the verse and I'll just read from it. Just give me a second.
Your mic is muted.
Daniel chapter
what did you ask me?
comes after Rome is divided. Which verse did you use for that?
Yeah, I'm using the Daniel 2 verses 34 and 43 to 44.
Okay, so I read from there. 33 to onwards. The head of this image was fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its middle and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, and its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. We already know that gold represents Babylon. This is a common scholarly consensus. And the silver obviously represents the Medes and the Persians, and the legs.
I love how he only uses the scholarly consensus when it's in agreement with him. That's only when it applies.
represents the iron, and
Otherwise, the scholarly consensus means nothing to him.
the iron and clay feet represents the division of Rome. So, as he rightly said, the Son of Man is supposed to come after the division of Rome. But note over here, when you read the rest of the verse in context, what it states is that then the iron, the clay, the bronze, no, 34. As you look, a stone was cut out by no human hand, and it struck the image on its feet of iron and clay and broke them in pieces. Then the iron and clay, it was carried away in the wind. All right. So Jesus did not come to fulfill this promise. We believe as Christians that this promise does not, or this prophecy does not.
He's a heretic. They do not believe this. What he's about to say is crazy. I actually low-key forgot he even said this, bruh. Well, I did talk about it earlier, and he conceded it. He actually dropped it. I'm gonna clip that and put it on a video.
Refers to Jesus was coming as a Messiah, but as a second coming, when he would come to destroy the earth and destroy the kingdoms of this earth. Jesus himself said that he has not come to establish a kingdom in this earth, but a kingdom in heaven. So I think this pretty much destroys the
And then he appeals to the Gospel of John, a non-historic gospel.
claim that this is referring to Jesus' first coming, and this is a common consensus among Christians. So I close with this: history matters. We need to look at Ahmed. We'll get
That was a good opening statement as well. Go on to the cross. Yeah, you have the statement.
Jesus mentioned by name in the. Yeah. Okay. So, where is Jesus mentioned by name in the Old Testament as the Messiah?
All right. I love that you brought that up. So the way Jesus is mentioned in, do you know what Jesus Christ literally means?
I can't answer questions in my cross exam, but I need to know where is he mentioned by name in the Old Testament?
No, okay, all right. I'll just answer it that way. So the Jesus Christ, the name literally means anointed one. Christ means anointed one. And throughout the Old Testament, it refers to the anointed one. As I believe in Islamic tradition as well, names have a lot of significance. Names have meaning.
That's because Christ isn't his last name. That's his title as Messiah. Christ just means Messiah in Greek. So where is he mentioned as Jesus in the Old Testament?
Okay, sorry. I said Moshiach in Greek. Oh wait, no, sorry. I'm tripping. I said Christ means Messiah in Greek. I didn't even listen to
Naming him
myself.
Messiah doesn't mean anything because, of course, if he's the Messiah, then he would fulfill messianic prophecies. But where is he mentioned by name, like how I showed the Prophet Muhammad mentioned by Ahmad, which we do have Jewish reverts. You said nobody said it, but we do have.
Oh, he didn't like that.
The Prophet Muhammad mentioned by Ahmad, which we do have Jewish reverts. You said nobody.
Breakneck. Boom.
But where is he mentioned by name, like how I showed the Prophet Muhammad mentioned by Ahmad, which we do have Jewish reverts. You said nobody said it, but we do have Ka'b ibn Abhar saying that he is mentioned by name in Isaiah 42.
Ka'b ibn Abhar. By the way, who's Ka'b ibn Abhar?
Name in the Old Testament.
Okay,
like you said, that prophets need to be mentioned by name.
All right, yeah. Let's go to Matthew chapter 1, verse 23, please.
That's not the Old Testament.
That's the New Testament. I'll get to it. Just give me a second. Matthew 1:23. What it says is, behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. All right? So what is Jesus supposed to be named as?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel,
According to the
right?
Gospel of Matthew.
According to the Gospel of Matthew.
I don't know why he genuinely thought that this would work. If he's trying to say that's a fulfillment, brother, then Songs of Solomon is a fulfillment.
Yes. So according to the Gospel of Matthew.
In Isaiah 7, is the context messianic or is it about King Ahaz 700 years before Jesus?
All right, let's just go to the verse, shall we?
Yeah, okay. Adam, just
This a whole nother clip right here. We got 2 clips so far already. 2 clips.
explain that. Basically, the question.
We
so let's
gonna
say
be
if you
clip
read
farming
the
for
description,
days, bruh. The way they got him, bro. We clip farming for days.
You'll have 3 minutes to give that question, and the person answering it will have no time limit, so you don't have to worry.
Okay.
You have unlimited time to explain your points. So yeah.
All right. So I think reading the verse in context makes things very clear. In Isaiah 7 verse 10, it reads, again the Lord spoke to Ahaz, ask a sign of the Lord your God. Let it be deep as Sheol or high as heaven. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, and I will not put the Lord to test. And he said, hear then, O house of David. Is it too little for you to bury men that you bury my God also? All right. So notice who's asking the question.
Yeah, so I don't know. He literally cooked himself right here. I just let it slide because I was trying to get to my point. He said right here that first King Ahaz rejects the message, right? And then what does Isaiah say in return? Oh, King David, why are you whatever? Let's pull it up. Okay, there we go. So I don't know why he did this. He cooked himself right here, guys. He cooked himself right here by bringing this up. Ahaz said, Isaiah says, well, the Lord says to Ahaz, ask your Lord for a sign. Ahaz rejects. Then Isaiah says, hear now, you, O house of David. He's speaking to Ahaz here, and he says, will you not try the patience of my God also? therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. So he did give him a sign. So Ahaz says, I'm not going to put the Lord to my test. And Isaiah rebukes him. He says, you're testing the Lord's patience. And therefore, the Lord will give you a sign. So he did. What is he doing? He cooked himself.
Question here. Ahaz. Now, in verse 14, it says, therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Okay, so we see that this is, so what Ahaz born of a virgin? Because obviously Ahaz is already born when this prophecy is being taught. So saying that this prophecy...
Well, I didn't even listen to this, bro. I didn't even hear him say this. Unfortunately, like, if I was to go, this video isn't over Isaiah 7 rebuking it, so I can't just go over every single thing. But I'll go over it right now. It doesn't even say that. The Hebrew word here is alama, which can be used on a man too. It just means a young woman. It could even mean a young man. And contextually speaking, it's only in the Greek Septuagint where it could be used as that. So, which every time I use the Septuagint, he wants to use it and say it's corrupted because it was originally in Hebrew. Okay, there we go. Then the Septuagint's corrupted. Thanks. He's appealing to that then. So it contextually read because the person who is born from is born next chapter. It just means young woman. Doesn't mean virgin.
It actually refers to Ahaz is, I'd say, like, illogical.
Okay, so Isaiah says that one of the signs of Emmanuel growing up is that once he grows up and when he knows that right is wrong, the two nations that Ahaz is at war with will be subdued. In Isaiah 8, were those two nations that he was at war with, were they subdued in Isaiah 8, yes or no?
Which verse, please?
Yeah, and I believe it's going to...
Because the son of Remaliah, therefore behold, the Lord is bringing up against them the waters of the rivers, mighty and many, the king of Assyria and all its glory, and it will rise over all its channels and go over all its banks, and it will sweep into Judah. It will overflow and pass on, reaching even to the neck, and its outspread wings will fill the breadth of your land, O Emmanuel. Be broken, you people, and be shattered. Give ear, all you far countries. Strap on your armor and be shattered. Strap on your armor and be shattered. Okay, yeah. Take counsel together, but it will come to nothing. Speak a word, but it will not stand, for God is with us. Okay, so do you know the context of who Assyria and Samaria was?
Oh, this guy doesn't know how a cross-exam works, constantly asking me questions. This is why I can't get nowhere with him, is because he's constantly asking me questions on my cross, and he's constantly interrupting me. So it was very hard for me to actually address everything. That's why I couldn't address everything in Isaiah 7, because we got dude asking me questions. Do you know the context? Brother, this is my cross exam. You can ask me that on your cross.
Yes, but I can't answer questions during my cross.
Okay.
I'm only supposed to be asking questions. In Isaiah 8, does it say that it's about the king of Assyria and the Euphrates?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
right.
We can obviously
so it's about
agree.
The king of Assyria and not a man 700 years later. And does it also refer to Maher-shalal-Hash-baz here in verse 8 as Emmanuel?
Stephen Judah. Yeah, it refers to it as Emmanuel.
Cooked, because Maher-shalal-Hash-baz is Isaiah's son, who was already born. Oh. Then I made love to the prophetess, which was mentioned in Isaiah 7, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. The son mentioned in Isaiah 7, and was named Maher-shalal-Hash-baz. That is Isaiah's son. Very nice. Quick to the spoil, or something like that. What is it? Quick to the plunder, swift to the spoil.
Okay, so Maher-shalal-Hash-baz, who was born in Isaiah 8, is also Emmanuel in Isaiah 7. Now, is King Jehu in 2 Kings, this King Jehu in Hebrew, does that literally mean Yahweh is me?
I'm sorry?
One of the kings in 2 Kings is called King Jehu. He's the king of Israel. And King Jehu literally translates to, Jehu literally means, I am Yahweh, or Yahweh is me. And so if they want to use Emmanuel or Isaiah 9:6, it's like, well, these are God-given terms. Emmanuel, God with us, that must mean he's God. Okay, then King Jehu must be God because his name is I'm Yahweh. So he must be Yahweh himself.
Come again?
King Jehu in Hebrew, does it literally mean I am Yahweh when you translate it?
All right. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to play with names. I mean, it's fair.
I need to know, does it mean Yahweh?
Who's trying to play with names? You're trying to say Emmanuel actually means the name Jesus. I'm playing with names? I asked you, where is Jesus mentioned by name? And he's not doing that. What is this guy talking about?
Yeah,
I'm Yahweh.
I'm going to answer your question. Just give me a second. So, when it comes to names, names have different meanings. So Jesus, one iteration of Jesus is Yehoshua in the Hebrew. It's similar to Joshua, which is also pronounced similar to Yehoshua. So when it comes to names, yes, you can bring this point, but is it really relevant to our topic of debate? Because you're trying to prove that Jesus predicted Muhammad. And I don't think
Of course, it's relevant to the debate because he said a prophet must be mentioned by name. Now that we've shown Jesus is not mentioned by name, he must now disqualify Jesus as a prophet. He also later in the video mentions that prophet is or he actually earlier did. He mentions that Paul is a prophet to the Gentiles. Where is Paul mentioned by name in the Old Testament? So he said one of his claims to prove that the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, is in the Bible, is to have him in the Old Testament explicitly mentioned by name, which I provided. I provided. And then when I asked him to do the same for Jesus or Paul, he failed at both of them and says, how is this relevant? Amazing. So he's trying to use unreasonable standards that he himself can't even substantiate. And he's telling me I did not find the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, in the Bible. Embarrassing. They want to go to such insane atheistic length just to try to say that the Prophet Muhammad is not in the Bible. He rejected Matthew 1:36 because he just admitted that Jesus can actually fulfill this.
see how
Here
this
it
is
is.
relevant to this topic.
21 minutes in the video, he just already lost this entire debate. And 21 minutes in. The whole video has been lost already.
If you don't mind.
So there we go, guys. It only took 21 minutes just to prove that the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, was found in the Bible. That's how long it took. But we're going to continue on with this video.
That's okay. I was just responding to your point on Matthew 1:23, where you said that the New Testament somehow uses that as an Old Testament prophecy. So I'm going to the Old
Yeah.
Testament itself and show that this has nothing to do with Jesus. So you
Yeah,
brought up
so-
the point that the prophet needs to be mentioned by name, but you can't even provide this for Jesus. I just wanted to provide.
Yeah.
But we can
No,
move
Mike.
on now to my next point.
No,
You said
You can hear bro's like, no.
by name the Old
Yeah.
Testament itself and show that this has nothing to do with Jesus. So you
Yeah,
brought up
so-
the point that the prophet needs to be mentioned by name, but you can't even provide this for Jesus. I just wanted to provide.
Yeah.
But we can
No,
move
Mike.
on now to my next point.
No,
You said
I-
that there's no. Just wanted to provide.
Yeah.
But we can
No,
move
Mike.
on now to my next point.
No,
You said that there's no scholar who calls or who says that Paul isn't a Gentile prophet. I'm not actually sure on that one by name, but what but is going to
Yeah, I mean, that would be stupid because he historically did preach to Gentile people. It doesn't make him a true Gentile prophet. That wasn't the point.
be the Prophet Muhammad, whom be peace, and not Paul. So he cannot.
do you quote?
So this is what he asked for. He asked for some quotes. We have two quotes where people say, we have scholars, biblical scholars, saying that the only person in history who can even come close to being like Moses is going to be the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace. And the reason why that's important is because Isaiah 42 says he would bring a new Torah. He has to bring a new Torah and establish a new law, or deen in the Arabic, actually, it says. Arabic and Aramaic.
Collins Gem,
Paul
Dictionary
doesn't
of
do
the Bible.
that.
The only man of history who can be composed even remote.
So Muhammad is the prophet that was raised for God's people, right? That's the claim you're making. I'm just clarifying your claim.
Yeah, but I was just using that in reference to Isaiah 42 because Isaiah 42 in verses, I believe it's like 6 through 7 or 8, says that he's going to bring a new Torah. It's going to be a new teaching Torah for the Gentiles, and it's going to establish a law for the whole world.
Okay.
So I'm
shall
using that in reference to Moses. That's something that
shall
Paul does.
we? Okay, I have an answer to this. Let's go to Acts 3:22. Acts 3:22 states this. Moses said, "The Lord God will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brothers. You shall listen to him in whatever he tells you." All right?
Yep.
If you read the previous verses, what conclusion do you come to?
Yeah, or Paul is probably saying it's Jesus, but that doesn't mean it's true. That would just make Jesus a false prophet.
So Acts was written by Paul, was it?
No, it was written by Luke,
Yeah. So how can you say Paul is saying this?
because Luke is just writing what Paul tells him. He just speaks on Paul's behalf. He writes what Paul tells him. What do you mean?
What evidence? What evidence do you have for that? I mean, that's a wild claim.
That's what traditional Christian scholarship says. Yeah, traditional.
No, that's
Yeah,
not
I don't know
that's not
what
I
he's
believe.
trying to say here, bro. Yes, that is, well, considering he thought Daniel too is about the second coming, he doesn't know what y'all believe. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. So, yeah, I don't know what he's trying to say here. Nobody thinks that. It's Luke is known, I think Eusebius says this as well. The earliest church says this. Luke is the physician of Paul, and he's writing Paul's accounts for the most part.
Christian scholarship holds that Luke compiled and interviewed various witnesses before he came up with the writings of Luke, and Acts was mostly through his interviewing of the church members at that time. We do
So
not
Luke
hold
isn't a
that
physician of
were-
Paul?
Yes, Luke was a physician to Paul, but
Okay.
Paul was not his source
Luke, no. Luke is the physician to Paul, but Peter was the source of info. Okay, show me where he talked to Peter.
material. Come on,
So
come
in
on.
Deuteronomy
Bro.
34, verse 10, does it say that never again will there be a prophet like Moses sent to Israel?
Yes, but in Deuteronomy 18, what does it
Okay.
say?
Was Jesus sent to Israel? I'm not here to answer questions. Was Jesus sent to Israel?
Yes.
Okay, so he contradicts that verse. It could not be about him. Now, I want to ask about the next thing. Does Jesus say that the servant to the Gentiles comes after he sent to Israel?
Yes, but in Deuteronomy.
Say that never again will there be a prophet like Moses sent to Israel?
Yes, but in Deuteronomy 18, what does it
Okay.
say?
Was Jesus sent to Israel? I'm not here to answer questions. Was Jesus sent to Israel?
Yes.
Okay, so he contradicts
Nice, bro.
that verse. It could not be about him.
Bro, let's go. No, Jesus is the prophet to Moses. Was Jesus sent to Israel? Yes. Does Moses say that no prophet like him will ever be sent to Israel again? Yes. Oh, okay. So it's not about Jesus then. Like, what are you doing, my guy?
Now, I want to ask about the next thing. Does Jesus say that the servant to the Gentiles comes after 70 AD in Matthew 22 or before 70 AD?
Which verse are you quoting from?
Matthew 22, verse 8.
Oh, yeah. I want to talk to you about that. I didn't have time in the opening statement. So, Matthew 22, if you read the first, you do understand when the Bible talks, it talks literally and it talks in terms of parables, right?
Right.
So, Matthew 22:1, what does it say? And Jesus spoke to them in a parable, saying, it's not a prophecy, it is a parable.
Oh,
John
Read the-
Chrysostom said it's a prophecy, does he not?
I don't care what John Chrysostom said.
Okay, so
Yes,
John
he's an early
Chrysostom-
church.
look at him smiling. He just knows he got cooked. He knows he got cooked. He knows what he's saying is stupid.
I don't care what John Chrysostom.
Hey guys, John Chrysostom is apparently the most respected Christian commentator of all time, until that you until you tell a Christian that he has a different belief than you do on one of his commentaries. Then all of a sudden he's a bot. All of a sudden he's just a layman Christian, bro. I've never seen how it's so crazy how Christians will go and John Chrysostom, bro, Christians, we're so smart, we're so amazing. John Chrysostom, golden lip boy. And then the second that you have a single interpretation that disagrees with them, no, he's wrong. Yeah, he's just wrong, bruh. He is just wrong. I don't know. He got that shit wrong, bruh. He got that wrong. Like, what are you talking about, bruh?
Chrysostom said,
Okay,
yes,
so
he's
John
an early
Chrysostom
church.
is just wrong on his religion? The number one Christian is wrong
Yeah.
on his religion? Golden
No, he's
boy
not.
commentator?
He's not the number one Christian, bro. We hold him to be
He's
highly
considered the number one
authoritative.
commentator on
He is considered as authoritative, and we consider him as an early church father, but that doesn't mean all his writings are true. But what does the Bible say? It
Could
says
you
Jesus
name me
spoke to them in
someone
a
who's
parable.
more respected than John Chrysostom when it comes to commentating on the Bible? Just one person who's more respected than John Chrysostom.
It depends on which circle you're addressing. It really depends on which circle
Yeah,
you're
he fails to. Then he sees like Gale's exposition on the Bible. Bro, what are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
Very
Yeah, because comparable story. It's not talking about 70 AD. Because if you go 2 chapters later, he is talking about 70 AD. He is talking about that prophecy.
So he agrees it actually is he went and saying, bro, this is a parable. It's not prophetic. Then he actually goes and says, it is prophetic. Just not in your sense. Oh, okay, so it's a prophecy.
I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Where does Jesus?
You know, Jesus calls himself a prophet. He refers to himself as a prophet and all of this stuff. What makes a prophet is that they have to be prophesying something, right? So if Jesus doesn't ever prophesy anything, he wouldn't be a prophet.
Jesus and his ever in the Bible say that none of his parables will be talking about the future?
I'm sorry?
Where does Jesus say that none of his parables will ever be referencing the future?
He doesn't state that it does reference the future either, does it? You're making an argument from silence.
So
bro.
why
That's
am I
it.
supposed to
That's a
believe
logical
you?
fallacy.
Well, yeah, I have Christian commentators doing this, so I'm actually confused. Where does Jesus?
What?
I'm sorry?
Where does Jesus say that none of his parables will ever be referencing the future?
He doesn't state that it does reference the future either, does it? You're making an argument from silence.
So
bro.
why
That's
am I
it.
supposed to
That's
believe?
It's not an argument from silence because he himself already agreed that he does make futuristic parables.
a logical fallacy.
Well, yeah, I have Christian commentators doing this, so I'm actually just affirming the Christian belief already. I'm not distorting it or twisting it anyway. I'm just already affirming Christian belief. So I'm
You're
arguing this
appealing.
about that.
You're making an appeal to authority. That's again a fallacy. You can't make an appeal to authority. You can maybe make an appeal to common consensus, but you can't make an appeal to
you're
authority
okay
over here.
with Muslims interpreting the Bible how it seems fit.
Brother was just saying that my interpretation is made up.
We don't have to actually make sure that
Read-
our
I
interpretation
mean,
of the Bible is
read in
actually
context. Read in context, bro. Read in context. Yeah, that's all I ask.
So when he says that he sends
So in other words, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer.
his army and destroy those murderers and burn their city, what's he talking about?
He's talking about his second coming, when Christ will come again. And I think, in a sense, this is prophetic. It's not prophecy. It's prophetic.
Okay, so it still is
It's
prophetic
different.
and about the future, just not the way you want to talk about
yeah.
it.
There's a difference. There's a difference. I hope you get that. Yeah.
It's only futuristic in the way you want it. I got it. Yeah.
No,
and
that's
so
not what I said.
How did they burn Christ's body? If
That is exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, as I said, it's prophetic.
Here we go. He gets cooked on Matthew 22 right here. This is when everything of his Matthew 22 argument goes bye-bye.
How did they burn Christ's body if it's referring to him?
So he's trying to say that the temple is not the temple, it's referring to his body.
Yeah, as I said, it's prophetic. It's a parable and a prophecy. So, okay, so
How
did
is
they
that
burn?
referring to him?
So, according to you, who does this refer to?
It's referring to the temple destruction because it's not referring to a person. The temple is literally the temple. You know how we know this is the temple? Because the earliest redactions of this verse that are pre-70 AD don't even mention the temple. So it's not referring to Jesus. When we look at pre-70 AD recession,
Let's pull it up. Okay. So here it is. I believe that this is also found in Q. The version I'm using is just going to be the Kernel Gospel of Thomas because it's going to give us a clear manuscript proof pre-70 AD. So this isn't even theorized. We have the manuscript for it. We know it's pre-70 AD. It's dated around 30 to 50 AD. Some scholars might say 60. That's okay. Well, actually, no, they wouldn't. I'm sorry. I lied to you. This would be 30 to 50 AD. And as we can see, this parable, which is found in Matthew 22, there is no mention of the temple whatsoever. The same quote found in Q has no mention of the temple whatsoever. So when the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, actually quotes this parable, you'll notice that it's not in the way that Matthew 22 words it. It's not actually verbatim to that. That's because he's quoting the historical Jesus. He's not quoting a gospel that has edited and redacted Jesus material for its own narrative.
of this, like in Q or in the Kernel Thomas, we see that before it was inside.
I mean, parents, why don't you just read the verse? Why don't you
Think that this is not referring to the temple destruction of 70 AD.
I mean, parents, why don't you just read the verse? Why don't you just read?
There we go. Guys, remember that every time I bring up historicality and all this stuff, he denies it because he's insisting. They love to do this, guys. They love to do this. They love to insist. We go away from history. No, we're not going to talk about history. The historicality of this verse is not how the gospel views it. Evidently so. We have the evidence for it. We know so. Even inspiring philosophy admitted it.
Read the verse and see what it says. All right?
Yeah, so I got you. I'll go ahead and read it. So he sends his servants, the first ones, these are the prophets who invited the son to the banquet. They refused, so he sends more servants. These servants are seized, mistreated, and killed, obviously referring to John and Jesus. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. So to the Jews, he murdered them, he destroyed those murderers, and he did not deserve to come. So go to the street corners and invite to the banquet.
That's my question.
Happened.
Did Jesus literally come and send people, to bring people from the roads and streets?
All right, unfortunately, my time ends here, but he got cooked here. I asked him, what is the Jewish people's city? Because God says that he destroys those murderers and burns their city. If this is referring to Christ's second coming, what's their city? What is the Jews' city, generally speaking? This is apparently referring to Christ's body. How is he destroying those murderers? Is he destroying Christ?
Streets and make a banquet. So is this literal? No. Is this literal or not? That's the question. Is it literal or not?
What do you mean by is it literal or not? I'm not sure what you said. He's not.
Until, let's say, verse 14. What's the conclusion you come to? What do you think it's talking about?
Does Daniel
44. Let's see what it says. And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set Daniel?
Does Daniel 2 verse 44 says that the kingdom of God will end Rome?
I'm sorry, Daniel?
No.
Daniel 2 verse 44 said that the kingdom of God will end Rome.
Daniel 2 verse 44. Let's see what it says. And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, nor shall the kingdom be left to another people. So according to you, this kingdom is Islam,
Sorry,
right?
I think keep reading to 45. Yeah.
No, my question is this kingdom
I'm
Islam?
not answering questions on my cross.
All right, sure. And
I don't know why
it shall
he's
break in
laughing.
pieces
That's
all
how
these
cross
kingdoms and bring
works.
them to an end, and it shall
So
stand
will bring
forever.
them to an end? Yes or no? Will it bring
Yeah.
Rome to an end? Okay. So
Yeah.
did Rome end in 1453?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So Jesus cannot fulfill this in his second coming since Rome already ended to the Muslim Ottoman Empire. So he can't be.
All right, go ahead.
What do you mean? All right, go ahead. You just conceded. You got cucked. You said it. You said we Christians know that Daniel 2:7 is about the second coming of Christ. Now that I just pressed you on that, you conceded it.
So according to you, so Islam has never been destroyed, right? Because according to verse 44, it says
Then he's asking me questions on my cross. What's going on?
he will set
I
up
don't
a
need to
kingdom that
answer
shall
my-
never be
I don't need to answer
destroyed.
questions during my cross, but I will. In
All right.
Daniel 7, verse verse 13, 14, and I think 23 to 24, it says that the saints of the Most High receive the kingdom, not any political empire. In Matthew 21, verses 42 to 43, Jesus says to the Jews who have no political power, the Romans own their land. He says the kingdom will be taken away from you and given to someone else. So did they have the kingdom at that time, even though they had no political power?
I didn't get the last part. Come again.
In Matthew 21, 42 to 43, Jesus says to the Jewish people who have no political power because the Romans own their land right now, he says the kingdom will be taken away from you and given to someone else. Do they currently have the kingdom at the time of Jesus when he says it will be taken away from you and given to someone else?
Okay, so see what you're doing. You're connecting Matthew 21.
Doesn't want to answer. Doesn't want to answer. You're connecting Matthew 21 with the kingdom of God. Yeah, that's what it's about. It literally says so. The kingdom of God. He doesn't want to answer because the answer is yeah. So clearly, you don't need to have a political power to still have a kingdom. It's given to the saints of the Most High.
1 verses 42 and Daniel 7 verses 14. Am I right
Yes,
or
because-
wrong?
Yeah, Matthew 21 is another parable of the kingdom of God. So it's
Yep,
talking about
I got
Daniel
that.
2 and 7 explicitly.
So what is the kingdom of God according to you?
I already said it's Islam, but I don't know why you keep asking me questions. You're supposed to be
Yeah,
asking questions.
Adam, you can start your. I guess you can start your questioning.
Yes.
List
Okay.
list out all the questions you want Sierra to answer, and then
Okay.
we'll get.
So do we have 2 rounds or do we have just one cross examination round?
We agreed upon 2 rounds, but yeah.
All right.
42 verse 1.
Let's go.
Let him
Let's
finish
go.
first, Sierra. Let him finish all his question because he might have multiple questions. So
Or any prophet clearly named Muhammad. One verse.
Isaiah 42 verse 1.
Let's go.
let him
Let's
finish
go.
first, Sierra. All the questions out, and
Yeah.
That's what I said in my opening.
Yeah, let him get all the questions out first.
Yep. Could you just show me how Muhammad is clearly mentioned here?
Yeah, because the Hebrew here uses a word that's only used once, amtak, and every single time Isaiah mentions the servant, he always names the servant afterwards, like Isaiah 20 verse 3, Isaiah 37 verse 35, Isaiah 41
Okay.
verse 2.
Oh, just hold
I
up.
have to answer.
All right.
I don't have time. It's okay.
All right. Go ahead.
So every single time Isaiah mentions the servant, he always names him afterwards. This time in Isaiah 42, he just says, whom I uphold. The Septuagint even tries to fix this by saying that it's my servant Israel. However, when we look at the Hebrew, it's the word amtak, only used once in the Bible. When we look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, the oldest word, it gives us a picture-perfect match to the Hebrew word achmad. It's a picture-perfect match. There's just a slight squiggle in one of the words. It's not squiggled, it's straight instead. And why do we think this? Well, we already know that scribes change names, like for example in 1 Samuel 17:50 and Judges 18:30. The names in those verses have been changed by scribes. We know this. Christians and Jews both agree. We can also look at Ahaziah and Jehoiachin's ages. Their numbers their ages are different in different verses because
Okay,
before he
that's a different debate.
Hold on. So because of this,
It's not a different debate. It's just a scribal fact. It's not up for debate. It's just true. There are poor Hebrew scribal copies on Ahaziah's age and Jehoiachin's age, which is why the KJV and early translations translate some of their ages as 22 and 42, and for Jehoiachin as 8 and 18. There's nothing up for debate with that. That's just a fact. We have scholars already saying this, guys. Like, what are we talking about? Christians already argue this, even for Hebrews 8:9. It's a misquote of Jeremiah 31 verse 32 from Paul, but scribes fix this and say, well, they're relying on handwritten manuscripts. It's probably just a poor manuscript. We see here, classical Jewish scribes even attribute these name changes to the Torah themselves too. It's not even Christians. So yeah, we're completely fine when we're completely justified in seeing these 2 small differences and reading it as just a poor scribal copy rather than a different word, because the word amtak is used only once in the Bible. It's a very strange word, and the word itself is out of pattern. The word here is out of pattern. There's no reason to think that it's actually whom I uphold, when every single time Isaiah mentions the servant, he always names the servant afterwards. And even the Septuagint tries to fix this by naming it as Israel.
We know that this is most likely just a poor scribal copyist preservation. That's why it looks slightly.
No, I still didn't get where it says Ahmed, because the
The
word
Hebrew
servant
word
is
amtak is actually Ahmad,
which word is it in the English?
whom I uphold.
Whom I uphold. All right. What did you say it was again?
In the Hebrew, it's Ahmad.
Ahmed.
The Quran
Okay.
says is 6,
Whom,
61 verse 6 is the name
okay.
of Muhammad.
Whom I uphold, right? I'm just clarifying again. Whom I uphold.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it says. Okay. And which manuscript, pray say, are you quoting from?
What's up?
Which manuscript are you quoting from?
The
Manuscript.
Dead Sea Scrolls, Isaiah Scrolls.
Okay. So fair enough. Fair enough. So I am using the Masoretic text. Okay. The Masoretic text.
Too bad. That was my whole point. You can't be using that.
1,000 years later, and it has the punctuation marks. That was the whole point. You can't use that. The oldest one says Ahmad.
All right. That's not the.
Marks. That was
Already
the whole
got
point.
mad.
You can't use that. The oldest one says Ahmad.
All right. That's not the scholarly consensus, but sure.
It's not the scholarly consensus that the Dead Sea Scrolls predate the Masoretic text by 1,000 years, and they also don't have punctuation marks, whereas the Masoretic text does. Brother, you just look at it. It's like saying the scholarly consensus doesn't say the grass is green. There doesn't even need to be a scholarly consensus for that.
I
That's
will
okay.
just.
The scholarly consensus isn't that Jesus resurrected. Yeah, you believe.
All right. I'll just show you concordance. See, it does not read Ahmed. What does it read? Could you read it?
I can't. It's very, very blurry.
Yeah, it's blurry.
I'm sorry.
Wait, maybe you can send me the source on Instagram on this account, and I can pull it up on my screen.
Yeah, it's very, very blurry.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's gonna be. All right.
You know, right?
Leave the live in order
Could
to
you
send
just
it.
read
All
it?
right.
It's okay.
Yeah, just read it. We'll
Yeah.
believe you.
Yeah. All right. All right.
So this guy,
the Hebrew lexicon
such a
there.
bot, bro. He looks at the word etmak, which is the Hebrew word that I said is actually Ahmad, and he goes to the root word, the root of the word, and says the word is tamak. Brother, that is the root word of the word that's being used in the Hebrew. That's like me saying you're giving a presupposition, and now instead of saying presupposition, I only use the root word. You're giving a what does that even mean, bro? You're giving a what is that? What are you talking about, bro? You don't just only say the root word of a word when you're speaking a language, you say the actual word. He tried to say that the root word is the actual word. Are you serious?
What you're cooking up is out of thin air. It's out of thin air, bro. So what you're
Oh,
cooking
it's
up
also
is out of thin air. It's out of thin air, bro. So Isaiah 42:1 does not say Ahmed. I don't know why you're lying about it. It does not say Ahmed. It says Talmak, whom I uphold. I clarified with you multiple times. It reads whom I uphold. It reads Talmak. It does not read Ahmed. I'm sorry. You have to bring up your source material for this. You have to bring your source material.
Okay, now you have the stage, Sarah.
Okay. So you said I brought it up out of thin air. Do 7th century Jews attribute Isaiah 42 verse 1 as being Ahmad? Yes or no?
No. That's not the question here.
Well, it's
Does
my
it say
statement.
Ahmed?
You have to answer.
No. It's
You
my
said I brought
process.
it up out of
It's
thin
my.
air. You 7th century Jew.
It's
And
my
that's
cross
Ahmad.
examination, brother. It's my
Yeah,
cross
then I'm
examination.
supposed to-
Could I ask the question?
Kind of confused, bro. Like, how long did my cross was like so much shorter than his? I feel like. How long did my cross last? Bro, my cross lasted like 15 minutes. His lasted like 35, bro. I swear.
Could I ask the question? My question was,
I'm now.
it's supposed to read Ahmed. It's supposed to read Ahmed. Does it read Ahmed or does it read Talmak? That's the question.
Yeah, in the Isaiah scrolls it reads Ahmad.
No. According to the common scholarly consensus, in the
According
most
to the common scholarly consensus, it says Amtak. Yeah.
it does not read Amtak. I'm sorry. You have to update your knowledge. It reads Talmak.
It doesn't read
reads
Amtak.
Talmak. I'm sorry, bro.
Brother.
It
Amtak
reads
was me
Talmak,
agreeing with
actually.
you. Brother. Amtak was me agreeing with you. Amtak
It
is
reads
the normal
Talmak,
Hebrew
actually.
word. Brother,
I'm
I'm saying
such
right,
a
say
bot, bro.
Ahmad.
Watch
I was
this.
agreeing with you. Look, Atmak. It doesn't
It's being recorded on his live, so it keeps getting blurry sometimes. This isn't my Wi-Fi; it's his. That's why it keeps getting blurry.
say what you Tachmak, whatever. It says Ahmak, or sorry, Atmak. It does. So I was correct. This is the normal Hebrew pronunciation, Atmak. Okay, I don't know what you're trying. That wasn't a gotcha moment. That's just the
All right. All right, let me just fill it up on my screen because this is the Strong's lexicon. Most scholars use this. What does it read?
I'm using the
I
Strong's
think my
lexicon.
internet
That was
is.
the Strong's. Brother,
All
I'm on
right.
BibleHub.com. What do you
You
think I'm
mean
using?
I'm clarifying again? Behold my servant whom I uphold. Whom I uphold. You mean that word, right?
Yes, yes.
It reads Taumak, bro. It literally means Taumak.
Okay,
Oh,
I don't know why yours reads that because I'm looking at Bible Hub and it says Amtak.
Yeah,
So
I thought this dude was looking at it interlinear because I can't see because it's a freaking blurry screen. So I had to go search it up real quick, and then I actually go see he's quoting the root word, bro.
I'm sorry. So scholars.
Root word, brother. You're not even looking at the word, brother. What are you doing?
Yep. So scholars go by the root word. They don't use the way it's used in the sentence. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no, brother. You don't use the root word to say what the word is. If I'm going to say a word, I'm going to say the word. I'm not going to say the root word of the word. That's like saying I want to refer to. Let's say I'm going to say that I'm going to go take my pre-workout, but I call it by the root word. I'm going to say I'm going to take my work. What does that mean? That's unintelligible. You have to say the full word. You don't say just the root word of a word whenever you're speaking words. Whenever we're speaking words, you say the word. You don't just say the root word. That makes no sense. So it's math.
All right.
It's not.
All right. So in the Hebrew.
Good. Oh my gosh, bro. So it is Ed back. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah. And he's like, I'm sorry. It's actually just saying it's Mac here. That's I understand that, but you're not engaging with the whole point here. The whole point here is that it's clearly a poor scribal copyist preservation. We clearly have a reason for believing in this unbiasedly because the Septuagint says it's Israel, which is the older recession. It's going to actually name it. Furthermore, the word here, or Isaiah always names the servant afterwards, and the word here, atmak, is only used once in the Bible. It's a very strange word. It's like Cyrus, another word only used once in the Bible.
You always go back to the root word in order to understand what they say.
Yes,
That's
but
just a common
that's not the meaning
consensus.
of the word. That's not the word though. That's how you understand the meaning of the word. That's not what we're doing. We're
Okay,
just saying what the word
okay.
is. The word in Hebrew is etmak. In Isaiah 42, the
So,
root word comes from tamak, but the word here is etmak. It's not the root word. It's a word. The
all
Bible
right,
doesn't only
all right,
speak in root words whenever it's actually speaking. What are you saying? I don't like this
all
isn't an
right.
argument.
Okay. Even by going by your own logic. All right. Does it read
Oh, bro, oh my gosh, look at my face.
Ahmed there?
Yes. If you
All
allow
right.
me to answer. Well, can I answer or no?
Please do answer.
Okay, I'll go ahead and show. So, like I said, 7th century Jews already understood this. I'm not making this up. When we look at the Isaiah scrolls, here is the Isaiah scroll. Here, I'll make it a little bigger. Here's the Isaiah scroll right here, and here's it under down right here. Look at all that. We put it right here. Every single word is a picture match for Ahmad. We have two slight differences right here. You see the differences? This is the Hebrew on the left or on the right, I believe, and this is Ahmad on the left is the correct. You
My
see the
bad,
slight
guys.
difference.
It's actually the other way around. I just didn't remember. Sorry, I don't speak Hebrew.
This is just poor scribal alterations, which we already see with names. For example, we see names being changed here. From David to Elhanan. We see a name here going from Gershom, son of Moses, to Gershom, son of Manasseh. We see names being changed. We know numbers and ages are changed. Ahaziah's age is 22 and 42. Jehoiachin's age is 8 and 18. This is just because of poor Hebrew copyist manuscript preservation. Same thing applies here, and that's why 7th century Jews
Okay.
understood it to be poor Hebrew manuscript, and they attribute it to Ahmad.
Okay. I see your reasoning, but why isn't it part of the popular
Oh my gosh. I see your reasoning. I can't refute it. Why do most scholars not say that?
scholarly consensus? Why don't they consider this as true? I mean, that's my honest question.
Yeah, because
Baked, bro. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is bad. This is honestly bad, bro. Honestly speaking, this is bad. 21 minutes in, he already conceded that his criterion of justification for prophethood cannot be matched or met with Jesus or Paul. 45 minutes in, he concedes that his criterion that a prophet must be named in the Old Testament or by the prophets in general, that it's prophesying, was just met according to his own concession. So according to him, The Prophet Muhammad is the clearest prophesized prophet in the Bible. He just admitted it. Thank you so
Because
much,
to
bro.
assert its Ahmad is a theological insertion, and no secular scholar is going to just assert theological insertions into the Bible. That would be ridiculous for a secular scholar to do. They would have all their credibility thrown away out the window, asserting theological views into an academic book. That makes no sense.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. But it all this
Again, that makes sense. He has no refutation for it. In other words, he agrees and he concedes. My argument is fully justifiable. I'm fully justified in thinking this. Wow, beautiful, amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm fully justified in thinking that the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, is actually literally named in Isaiah 42. Concession by Fearless, or whatever, I don't know his name.
argument
Fearful of the cross, I don't know. Fearless of the
underlies one
cross.
fact. You stating that it says Ahmed in the Hebrew, and we already made it so clear that that is not the scholarly consensus. You're just taking
And what does the scholarly consensus have to do with anything? You don't take the scholarly consensus when it comes to anything. You don't, as I've shown later in the video, he doesn't take the scholarly consensus when it comes to the Gospel of John being non-historical, or the four Gospels being independent, or Jesus never claiming divinity, or the resurrection not happening. So his entire religion falls whenever he tries to apply that standard.
one scholar. I don't know. I don't even know if
So
this is a
clearly, he doesn't actually follow that standard, because if he did, he wouldn't be a Christian.
scholar's work, and you
So you're
are
appealing to authority,
taking that
correct?
as authority. Yeah,
You're just
your
appealing to
authority is messed
authority?
up.
No, I'm asking
No,
you. You're just appealing to authority?
I'm not appealing to authority. I'm appealing to the common
The
consensus.
consensus.
Is it
So you're appealing to
to the
authority.
consensus?
Right,
No.
so you're appealing to the
Okay.
consensus.
So
Okay.
what are you appealing to? What are you appealing to? That's my honest
I'm
question, bro.
appealing to what's true, but if we just appeal to consensus, it's okay. In my next round of cross-exam, I'll ask you a lot of consensus questions. We'll see how Christianity upholds to the consensus. It's okay.
All right. Oh,
Boom, bruh. And we're going to see what happens very soon. That's another clip right there for TikTok for sure. We're going to see very soon what happens. I actually, I want to see if I can honestly just skip to that right now. We'll go back to this 47 minutes. We'll get back to this.
Kings. Verse 24. Is it referring to 10
kings.
kingdoms or 10
10
kings?
kings and inside
Answer
that
the
10
question.
kingdoms. I
No, no,
just
no.
did.
Answer the
I
question.
just did.
Does it refer
I
to?
just did. So is it my turn for the cross now?
Yeah, it's now your turn. With you guys.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, Sierra, you have the stage. It's your turn.
Okay, so you try to use the Gospel of John to justify your theology of Christ. Do scholars say that's the consensus of scholars, by the way, because that's what you're appealing to? Does the consensus theology of Christ?
Remember, guys, he also tried to use the Gospel of John to justify his interpretation of the kingdom of God in Daniel 2 and 7. So I'm doing a two birds in one stone right here. I'm showing how he doesn't actually agree with the consensus of scholarship, and how the consensus of scholarship actually, there is literally no reason to believe in the Gospel of John. We don't have to appeal to scholars for that.
Do scholars say that's the consensus of scholars, by the way, because that's what you're appealing to? Does the consensus of scholarship say that the Gospel of John meets the criterion of the similarity?
Which verse?
The Gospel of John as a whole.
Okay. So we're now questioning the canon.
Yes, I'm asking that.
But remember, that's not the debate. The debate is
Yes, it is,
does
because
Jesus.
as I told you in the messages, it's over the biblical and historical Jesus. Now, if you can answer my question, does the consensus of biblical scholarship say that John, the Gospel of John, meets the criterion of the similarity? Yes or no?
Never seen someone this scared in my life, bro. My second cross exam was so bad for him. I think he actually dodged 10 questions in just my second cross exam alone.
No, we're not talking about the divinity of Jesus. Again, you're changing topic.
I
Moderator,
didn't
can you
ask about
just?
the divinity of Jesus. I just asked you.
Divinity of Jesus, brother. I just mentioned the Gospel of John.
The
No,
Gospel of John meets the criterion
moderator.
of similarity. Can you answer my
Yeah.
question?
Wait, Adam.
Moderator. I feel we're diverting from the topic. The topic is, did Jesus predict the Prophet
Moderator, save me. Moderator, save me. Save me, moderator, save me.
Muhammad?
Right,
I don't see
if
how
you
this
use
is
the Gospel
connected.
of John to justify your arguments. I'm now explaining how the Gospel of John does not justify the theology of
No,
Christ or the disciples, because it's not
Wait,
historic. I'm asking you, do the disciples teach this? The Gospel of John is not from the disciples.
Yeah. So the main debate, basically the title of this debate was, does Jesus prophesize Muhammad? Like the title, we did not explicitly agree on whether we're gonna focus on the main Bible, or just the gospel. But as long as the conversation flows,
We
for
did.
example, we were talking about Jesus, and we were quoting verse.
We did. 3 times. I don't want to hear. I'll pull up some pictures. I don't want to go through the image itself, but I'll show some images. It's actually you know what? I don't even care, bro. I honestly don't care. 3 times I told him in the DMs, and he agreed all 3 times that I would also be talking about the historical Jesus. I had like the story posted on my story. If you all already saw that, it's not. If it was also on my Discord or whatever, it doesn't really matter, anyways. But yeah, he agreed to it being a historical debate 3 times, and he doesn't want to talk about the historicality of it because he can't talk anything history.
Shifted to the canon of scripture, like is it authentic or not? So it's fine, we can get into that, but if you don't want to, then it's okay. What do you say?
Yeah,
You can
because-
refuse to answer my questions. You don't have to answer my questions.
No,
Yeah.
because it's not relevant to the topic. If you can
Okay,
just
so you
stick to
refuse to
proving,
answer if the Gospel of John is historical.
Okay, guys, remember Isaiah 42. I have to appeal to the consensus of scholarship here, and I ask him about the consensus of scholarship on the Gospel of John. Refuse to answer. That's number 1. He already refused to answer.
Okay, next question.
He's gonna
According to
refuse the next
consensus of
question.
Scholarships, did Jesus resurrect?
yes,
The consensus of scholarships says scholarships did Jesus
Yo, look at his face. Look at his face. He got cooked, bro. He got cooked.
resurrect?
Look at his face. Look at his face. Yo, he can't even handle himself right now.
yes.
The consensus of scholarships says Jesus resurrected?
There's overwhelming manuscript evidence that Jesus did resurrect.
Did I ask for that? Did I ask for the manuscript evidence, bro? Oh my gosh, bro, you got cooked.
I didn't
There are
ask that.
400 witnesses.
I didn't ask that.
Yeah.
I didn't ask that. Does the consensus of historical and gospel origination scholarship say that Jesus resurrected? Yes or no?
In the sense, miraculous events are always, I'd say,
We gonna answer, brother? Are we gonna answer?
scholars.
You see how whenever he asks me, does the consensus of scholarship say this or this or that? What do? I say yes or I say no. I don't go.
Always skeptical of miraculous events, but there's overwhelming historical
Okay,
evidence that it
all right,
actually
next
happened. Yeah.
question. Did the consensus of scholarship say that the 4 gospels are anonymous or from the disciples?
Okay. Yes, they do say it's anonymous.
The consent. Okay, thank you. Does the consensus of scholarship say that Jesus proclaimed to be
She actually answered that one.
divine or no? The consent. Okay, thank you. Does the consensus of scholarship say that Jesus proclaimed to be divine or no?
Yes, the scholarly
No.
consensus is that Jesus did proclaim to be divine.
No, the scholarly consensus, according to scholars like Bart Ehrman, Dale Allison, Adela Collins,
Okay, Bart
Walter-
Ehrman is an agnostic scholar. Bart
These
Ehrman
are-
is an agnostic scholar.
and Dale Allison is
Yeah.
a Christian scholar. And Dale Allison is a Christian scholar who says this. Thank you very much. Okay.
You want to appeal to personal belief? Well, they're agnostic. I don't care if they're a biblical scholar. They're agnostic. Their opinion on the Bible doesn't matter. They can't be Bible scholars if they're not Christian. Okay, Christian scholars say the same thing. Now what?
Christian scholar. And Dale Allison is a Christian scholar who says this. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's go. Let's go with. Is there any? Okay.
Look at his face, bro. Look at his face.
Okay.
He knows, bro. He has nothing to say about that one because he loves to interrupt too. So anytime he doesn't interrupt after I give my response, and that's how you know he just has nothing to say.
Let's go. Let's go with. Is there any evidence of the Prophet Muhammad and his community that he lived and having access to any biblical gospel material? Any evidence of this?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so
Right. There's zero evidence that he has any gospel material.
he's quoting parables that he doesn't have access to and says it's about him while it's coherently within the time frame.
I mean, if Caliph Uthman wrote it, I think that makes more sense.
What's up?
If Caliph Uthman wrote it, I think
Yeah. Caliph Uthman wrote a hadith. Brother doesn't even know his own argument. You're supposed to be arguing he burnt the Quran, not that he wrote it. That he wrote a hadith. No one's ever made that argument, brother. You're like switching up the arguments. You don't even know what's up.
that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's an intro.
And by the way, do you notice how he's appealing to historicality now? But when I try to appeal to historicality of the Gospel of John, he tries to refuse that question. That's not the topic at hand.
Internal critique, not external, the same way that you said that you don't have to talk about the Gospel of John because that's an external critique. So likewise, does this hadith say that he quotes this parable near verbatim and attributes it to himself while it coherently fits the time frame? Because we're not talking about if it's historical or not. Likewise, how you wouldn't answer if the Gospel of John is historical. So does he say it in that hadith, yes or no?
Come again?
Does he say that in his hadith? Does he quote the parable near verbatim and attribute it to himself while coherently fitting it?
I don't get your question. Could you please come again?
How do you not
trying
get
to
the question? How do you not get the question, brother? He doesn't have access to this gospel, as you already agreed. Now, is he quoting it, and is he coherently fitting himself into it while fitting the time frame, theologically speaking, not with our theological implications of the author of the gospel parable itself, but just from the parable itself, when we know that it comes after 70 AD, without any theological implication being inserted, does it coherently fit the time frame that it gives? Yes. And is he quoting this parable that he has no access to? Yes. That's all I was asking.
Connection
quotes
is
the
bad.
parable of Matthew 22 near verbatim and then attributes it to himself, and while coherently fitting it.
All right, you say that Muhammad quoted it, but again, we can go back to the debate if it is canonical. And again, you're quoting from Hadith. We're not even talking about the Quran at this point.
Can you just answer my question?
talking. All right, so where does it say so in the Quran? That's the question I'd ask you as an answer to your
Well,
question.
it's my cross exam, so
All right, go ahead.
Muhammad himself attributes it to himself. So,
All right.
respond to that or no?
Go ahead.
No, I'm asking. So, I was asking a question with that.
Yeah, I didn't get your question. Come again, please.
Yeah, I was asking you, how does he, without having access to that gospel material, quote that parable and then attribute it to himself while coherently fit it? It's not right.
Is it in the Quran or the Hadith? That's the question.
It's in the Hadith.
So it's not in the Quran.
It's
I
from
rest my
Prophet
case.
Muhammad himself.
I rest my case. I rest.
So he has no answer. He has no answer. What is he doing with this, bro? Like, who is he appealing to, bro? He's appealing to his fan base right here, who doesn't believe in hadith. Wow, you really worked. The argument here isn't if I have to prove it right now. If I had to prove it to him, I would prove it to him, and he wouldn't be able to respond. That's not the argument here. So, is it in the hadith and the Quran? Yeah, I rest my case. I rest my case. So the answer is, yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Rest my case.
Okay, so his case is that the Prophet Muhammad himself is able to, without having access to gospel material, attribute prophecies to himself. Okay. The Quran also quotes gospel material too. Like it quotes the parable of the mustard seed, I believe, and it quotes.
Again,
and
how is it?
Yeah, it quotes the parable of the mustard seed. So the Quran itself, it quotes the parable of the mustard seed, I believe, and it quotes. Yeah.
Okay.
They're cooked again, bruh. So he's trying to make the argument that the Islamic prophet doesn't actually have access to gospel material, but rather Uthman does. Now that I've shown it in the Quran that he does have access to gospel material, he got cooked. Now look at him. He looks very straight.
Again,
And
how
quotes,
is it?
yeah, quotes the parable of the mustard seed. So the Quran itself also quotes gospel parables and attributes it to the Prophet and the disciples too. So
Alright,
the Quran itself is familiar with the Gospels too, not just the Hadith
Mhm.
itself. So it would be pretty ludicrous to say that the Hadith is made up just because it quotes your Gospel, because the Quran quotes the Gospel too. Next question: does Paul quote being a light for the Gentiles in Isaiah 42 and Isaiah 49 and apply?
Cooked, by the way. He got
The
cooked.
Hadith is made up just because it's just the Hadith
No
itself.
response.
So it would be pretty ludicrous to say that the Hadith is made up just because it quotes your Gospel, because the Quran quotes the Gospel too. Next question: does Paul quote being a light for the Gentiles in Isaiah 42 and Isaiah 49 and apply it to himself and Barnabas in Acts 13:47?
Acts 13:47.
Yeah.
Acts 13:47. But the Lord has commanded us, saying, "I have made you a light for the Gentiles, that you may bring salvation to the earth." What do you say? References again?
The reference to Isaiah 42 and Isaiah 49:6, being a light to the Gentiles.
Isaiah 42 verse
Isaiah 42 verse 6 and Isaiah 49 verse 6, being a light to the Gentiles.
and Isaiah 42:6. I am the
Holy
Lord.
moly.
Gentiles, brother. What are you saying?
No,
Gentiles
no,
and
that-
nations are synonymous in the Old Testament. You
Oh,
saying-
yeah. He tries to say, brother, it says nations, not Gentiles. Oh my gosh, you don't read the Old Testament?
Now, Isaiah
Oh, you never read the
40.
Old Testament. Thank you for
Isaiah
telling us you
40
never read the Old Testament.
Isaiah 40:6.
And it's also found in
yes.
Isaiah 49 verse 6. And the footnote as well, when you read the footnote of Acts 13:47, it says that this is a quotation of Isaiah 49 verse 6. So he's saying the Lord commanded us, saying that I have made you a light for the Gentiles. Does he say that? Yes or no?
Okay. Let's
He does say
operate on the. Okay, yeah. Let's operate on the assumption that he does say that. Yeah.
Assumption. He does. Just look at the verse.
Well, he does say in Acts 13:47, and I quote, "For the Lord has commanded us, saying, I have made you a light for the Gentiles, that you may bring salvation to the ends of the earth."
Okay. He probably quotes the Isaiah verse, but go on.
Oh,
It's not
so he's
completely
quoting
quoted
it out of context to apply it to himself?
No. See, in Isaiah 42:6, what does it read? I called you to righteousness, and I will give you as a covenant for the people, as a light to all nations. Here he's quoting, I have made you a light for the Gentiles, that you may bring salvation to the ends of the earth. It's not a perfect
That's because
quotation.
that's coming from Isaiah 49 verse 6, but Isaiah 49 is a servant song parallel of Isaiah 42.
Dude, this guy's crazy. He doesn't know that Isaiah 53 is one of the servant songs. He tries to say that it's a song and that disproves it's a prophecy. Isaiah 42, 49, 52, 53, and I think 60 are all servant song prophecies. They're all songs.
42. It's the same thing. It's just a
Let's
shortened
go
version
to
of it.
Isaiah 49:6. And
You
he
can read
says,
49:6 and 42,
And 42 and 49 are the same thing, just like how Daniel 2 and Daniel 7 are the same prophecy.
and they're 42 and 49 are just right parallel with each other. It's like
okay,
Daniel 2
okay,
and Daniel 7. It's the same thing twice.
okay, go ahead. What's your point?
Okay. So he does quote that and say it's about him. Does Isaiah 42 teach that the servant to the Gentiles in verses 11 to 13 is a war leader like Moses and Cyrus, who comes out from Kedar and Sela, which Christian biblical scholarship all accept as the Hijaz region? Mecca, and Medina?
Cooked here.
Nope, come again.
So it doesn't call him a warrior, and it doesn't say he's coming out of Kedar and Sela?
Okay, again, how is this relevant to the topic? Does
Because
Jesus
Jesus in Matthew 22.
Are we serious? Panic mode. Panic mode. Panic mode. Because we have to establish if there's a prophetic basis for Jesus to even be alluding to a Gentile prophet. If there's no Old Testament basis for this, then we can't even make that kind of assumption, because it would be kind of weird to say that he prophesies as a prophet that no other prophet ever talks about. It is a completely new concept to the Hebrew prophets. Rather, what we're seeing is we're doing a confirmation of the Hebrew Torah, and Jesus is doing a confirmation of that Hebrew Torah and confirming the Prophet Muhammad. Doesn't want to engage with that. So,
is making a reference to Isaiah 42 in verses 8 to 10 when he talks about the Gentiles or the servants of the Gentiles. So we're going to Isaiah 42 to see what kind of servant Isaiah 42 is describing. So if you could answer
what
me,
I
does he
really
say
love
it's a
about this
warrior,
debate?
and does it say he's from Kedar and Sela?
Where does it say he's out of Kedar?
In literally verse 11.
Which verse? Isaiah chapter
42 verse 11.
Isaiah chapter 42 verse. Let's go. Let the desert and the cities lift up their voices, the villages that Kedar inhabits. All right, it says in the Old Testament, but does it say in the reference he's referring to,
Is who?
which Paul is referring to in Acts?
okay. I didn't know Paul could just quote prophecies out of context.
So Paul is just quoting this out of context and not actually the context of what Isaiah means? Okay. So he's just quoting prophecies out of context and applying it to
Again,
himself.
this is not the topic.
I guess in that case,
Again,
I guess I should start saying songs of Solomon about the Prophet Muhammad.
no. I mean,
Look. He said that that's a different topic. That's another topic for another time. Oh, okay.
The context of what Isaiah means? Okay. So he's just quoting prophecies out of context and applying it to
again,
himself.
this is not the topic.
I guess in that case,
Again,
I guess I should start saying songs of Solomon about the Prophet Muhammad.
no. I mean, that's what you say, don't you?
Yeah. Likewise, how Paul quotes Isaiah 42, which has nothing to do about him, and quotes it about being him. So I'm going to ask you this. In verse
I
11
have
to
another
12, does it
question.
say that he comes from Kedar and Sela?
Baked, bro. My gosh, bro. Baked, bruh. What's going on? What is going on, bruh? 20 minutes and absolutely baked. 40 minutes and absolutely baked. 1 hour and 30 minutes and absolutely baked. And I was skipping through all that, so.
Isaiah,
Holy, bruh. This is bad. This is bad, bruh.
That's how Paul...
I mean, that's what you say, don't you?
Yeah. Likewise, how Paul quotes Isaiah 42, which has nothing to do about him, and quotes it about being him. So I'm going to ask you this. In verse 11 to 12, does it say that he comes from Kedar and Sela?
Isaiah,
Verse 13
again,
does...
moderator.
Yeah.
How is this relevant to the debate? That's my honest question.
Because Matthew 20, third time saying this, because Matthew 22 is a reference, a parallel.
Oh, I forgot to show that. Yeah, let me go ahead and show this, guys. What is this dude talking about, bruh? What is he talking about, bruh? Let's pull this up. He's making a reference to Isaiah 42:1 right here, because he's saying he's combining Daniel 2 and 7 and Isaiah 42 when he talks about how the servant was going and be a light for all the Gentiles. He'll go and gather all the people. He'll be a light for them and a covenant to the people. This is a reference to how First Enoch also mashes Daniel 7 and Isaiah 42 to being the same figure. And First Enoch is a text that predates Jesus. It's 1st century BC. So very well the historical Jesus himself most likely knew about this and applied these understandings, because it's also, according to Adela Collins, the oldest interpretation of Isaiah 42. So Jesus, being the great prophet he is, would have been alluding to the original understanding of Isaiah 42, which would be First Enoch. The Gospel authors and the New Testament authors also understand First Enoch to just be scripture itself. They actually apply First Enoch to prophecy of Enoch itself.
To Isaiah 42. So we need to read Isaiah 42 to understand who Jesus is alluding to when he references Isaiah 42. Does that not make any sense with you? If he's referencing a parable, or
Yo, I'm dead, bro. I'm actually dead, bro. Oh my gosh.
is a reference, a parallel to Isaiah 42. So we need to read Isaiah 42 to understand who Jesus is alluding to when he references Isaiah 42. Does that not make any sense with you? If he's referencing a parable, or if he's referencing a prophecy, we need to read that prophecy to understand who is it describing. So I'm going to ask you again.
I'm sorry.
Does verse
You
11
said
and
we
12 say
should.
he comes from Kedar?
You said we should read the prophecy, right? Read the prophecy. Let's
Yes.
see.
So does
Let's
verse 11 and 12 say he comes from Kedar and Summit?
Let's read it. So according to you,
We
Isaiah
don't have
42
all day,
6.
brother. You cannot
Read the prophecy. He just admitted it's a prophecy.
stall.
Yep.
In verse
Isaiah
11 to
42.
12, does he
Yep.
say he comes from Kedar and Summit?
Let me read. Isaiah 42 6. I'm the Lord. I've called you in righteousness. I will take
Why
you
are
by the
you
hand
going
and
from verse
keep
6,
you.
brother? Just read.
Because I'm
answer
just reading the
question.
context.
You
Is
didn't
context
let him
important?
read. Why are you dodging? Just answer the question.
Is context important or not, according to you?
Yes, context is important. You can read the context, but I'm asking a question. If you can answer, does that verse say that he comes from Kedar and Summit? If you just answer
Yeah,
it,
that's why I'm reading the context. I'm reading the context.
I'm reading the context because I don't know, so I have to read it first, and I have to actually understand what it's saying. It's my first time reading it, and then I'll go ahead and give you my ad hoc response that I just came up with right now.
All right.
you can explain the context. I just want to know, does it say it though?
Moderator, am I allowed to answer? Moderator, am I allowed to
Yes.
answer? Or is he going to keep interrupting? Yes. Praise from the.
Right. And do you know what that's referring to?
No. Does it say
What's it referring
song
to?
or prophecy?
You don't ask
Does
me
it say
questions and I
song or
cross examine. What's it
prophecy?
referring to?
Come on.
What's it
Come
referring
on.
to?
Bro. Yeah, this is about how long the debate lasts before he just lost it. At this point, he lost all his marbles, and he just got disingenuous after this. Well, he was pretty disingenuous the whole time.
Prophecy.
It's whatever.
It's a prophecy.
But the verse 10 says, sing to the Lord a new song.
Right. And do you know what that's referring to?
No.
And how is that making it not prophetic?
Does it say
What's it referring
song
to?
or prophecy?
You don't ask
Does
me
it say
questions and I
song
cross
or
examine. What's it
prophecy?
referring to?
Come on.
What's it referring to, brother?
Come on. Come on.
Yo, he does actually start going crazy.
It's saying, come on.
What's it referring to, brother?
Come on. Come on.
Okay.
It's saying,
So you don't want
sing
to
to the
answer. I'm
Lord.
going to answer this for you. Stop talking while I'm speaking, please. Isaiah 42,
Come
verse
on.
10. The
You
first
got-
century Jews prior to Jesus. Why are you speaking over the moderator? Mute him.
Sing.
Yeah. Let's keep it respectful, please, and like
Okay,
not.
okay, I'm sorry.
You didn't see me interrupting and laughing at you. Stop.
I'm
being
sorry.
dis-
I'm sorry.
disrespectful.
Go ahead.
Let's just
Extremely
answer.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
So-
I'm just going to turn off my video for a
So
second.
like I
Turn off my
said,
video for a second.
the first century Jews, according to Rabbi Akiva, who gets his information according to scholars from Hillel in the first century BC, as well as Targum Jonathan, who lives in the first century, they both attribute Isaiah 42 as prophetic to Cyrus, the Messiah. Isaiah lives before Cyrus. So if this Isaiah 42 is about Cyrus the Great, that means this entire chapter is prophetic, according to Jews who lived before Jesus. So according to our most ancient, oldest interpretation, prior to Jesus, it's prophetic. Again, our interpretation before this,
I mean, I don't even have to appeal to this. The servant songs. The servant, dude. This guy, he doesn't even know that. He genuinely has no clue about that. So there's no point of even saying, brother, you know, Isaiah 52 is a servant song. He's gonna be like, where does it say it's a song?
in First Enoch, the oldest interpretation ever on Isaiah 42 that we have, it interprets Isaiah 42 about a prophecy of a single servant. So the first oldest interpretation takes us about being a single servant. And so, yeah, contextually being a single servant. And so, yeah, contextually read, when we contextually read it, that's how it's understood, as well as the fact that in Matthew 23, 1-3, Jesus conforms to the first century rabbinic authoritative halachic understanding of the Torah when he says to his disciples, observe everything they say about the Torah and follow that. So when their interpretation of this that we have, according to Rabbi Akiva, First Enoch, and Targum Jonathan, of this all being about a prophecy, not a song, it's a prophecy, okay? Nobody thinks it's a song, it's a prophecy. In fact, they attribute this to Cyrus the Great. Do you know what's so funny about Cyrus the Great? Cyrus the Great is not Jewish. He's a war leader. He's from the Arabias. And do you know why it says sing to the Lord a new song? Because after Cyrus the Great had freed Israel from the Babylonian captivity mentioned in Isaiah 44 and Isaiah 45, whenever they were freed from Israel, they were singing a new song when they arrived to Israel. They were singing songs of joy. That's what it says. Sing a song to the Lord praise. It says tahil. In the Hebrew, it says sing to the Lord a new song of praise in the Hebrew, tahil. In Arabic, what's tahil? It's la ilaha illallah. It says that they will sing a new song of la ilaha illallah, and they will give a new Torah teaching in verse 4. So it's a new song like Torah, which is the Quran. Thank you very much.
Again,
He already admitted that the verses prior to verse 6 are prophetic. The verses prior to verse 6 say that he's going to establish a new deen for the world and a new Gentile Torah for the world, a new Torah. And then he further goes to explain that this Torah is going to be a praise to the Lord, a song like hymn to the Lord,
Again,
that the Arabias will turn to.
you're contradicting yourself.
And you're,
Because you just
wait,
said it's a
let Adam
prophecy,
talk
and when I said it's a song, all of a sudden you admitted it's a song, bro.
yes, it's
Do you
prophesying that the
serious?
new Torah is a song like him. It says let's pull up the verses actually. We'll read this. We'll read this together. It says that in verse 4 that he will bring a deen, a justice, which is a deen in the Aramaic and Arabic, and he will bring a new Torah. So he brings a law and a new Torah, and they're going to be singing a
So
hymn.
Cyrus did this.
Please stop.
Cyrus did
They're
this.
going to-
Cyrus
please
did
stop.
this.
Please stop.
Wait, wait.
Cyrus did this.
Let's
Okay.
not interrupt
Okay.
each other, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Please stop interrupting me because it shows that you're losing.
Because
So,
Cyrus did
Once,
this.
why are
Cyrus
you
gave a new
interrupting me
Torah.
still, brother? You're getting
Wait,
cooked
guys.
right
Whoa.
they're going to be singing a
So
hymn
Cyrus did
praise.
this.
Don't please stop.
Cyrus did
They're
this.
going to-
Cyrus
please
did this.
stop. Please stop.
Wait, wait.
Cyrus did this.
Let's
Okay.
not interrupt
Okay.
each other, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Please stop interrupting me because it shows that you're losing.
Because
So-
It's like he loves to refuse to answer my questions, but all of a sudden he really wants to answer my question right here. Brother, show that same love for the 7 other questions in this cross-exam alone that you refuse to answer.
Cyrus did
Once,
this.
why are
Cyrus
you
gave a new
interrupting me
Torah.
still, brother? You're getting
Wait,
cooked
guys.
right now.
Let's
Why are you
talk.
interrupting me?
Cyrus, brother, stop.
Wait,
Sure,
guys,
bro.
Adam,
Whatever
Adam,
makes
Adam.
you sleep.
Adam, let Sira make his point
Oh,
first.
I'm
and
sorry.
then
Go ahead.
So he's bringing a new Torah, which establishes a law. It's a hymn to God.
Who
and
does
it's
he
a
refer
So Cyrus establishes a new Torah. W.
to? Who does he refer to?
praise to the Lord. Why are you still interrupting me? The moderator just told you 5 seconds ago, stop interrupting me.
I'm just
Wait,
Stop
clarifying.
interrupting me.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Adam, just let
All
him
right.
finish.
Every
his
single
point
time I
first, and
speak,
then,
this guy feels the need to interrupt me. That's how you know you're losing. So in verse 10, he's going to be singing to the Lord a new song, his praise from the ends of the Lord. So it's going to be a song of praise, to heal, which means praising to God through a hymn in the Jusenius lexicon. It's a hymn. So he's saying that this new Torah, this new Gentile Torah, is going to be recited as a song like hymn for the Lord from the ends of all of the earth and for the islands, which means Arabias. And you didn't answer that verse 13 says that he's a warrior like Moses and Cyrus. So this verse here, according to pre-Jesus interpreters, before Jesus was existing on earth, they understood Isaiah 42 to be prophetic, to be about a non-Jewish person named Cyrus, a warrior who comes out of Arabia. Jesus and Paul are not non-Jewish, are not war leaders, are not bringing a new Torah song like him. They are not from the Arabias, specifically Kedar, according to biblical scholarship, is in the Hijaz region, Mecca and Medina.
Cooked.
You didn't respond to any of this.
yeah, that was your
Okay.
turn, Adam.
Okay.
Cooked. Cooked.
I'm allowed to talk?
Cooked.
Perfect.
Yes.
So
There's
according
another clip right there, 136. Another clip right there, bro.
to
Like,
you,
cooked.
this is
My
referring to
gosh,
Muhammad.
Yep.
Isaiah 42.
Yep.
Okay. So, behold my servant whom I uphold, my chosen, in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him. This is Muhammad. All right.
Because Muhammad has the Holy Spirit put upon him, as the Quran states in 16:102 and 26:193. And also, you're just asserting your Christian interpretation on it. The Hebrew there is ruach, which means to put my word in it and to prophesy. The Bible uses that same language throughout its text to mean prophecy. I can give you multiple different places. Numbers 24, 2-3, 1 Samuel 10-6.
Can I answer your? Can I answer your? Because can I answer your question? Can I answer your question? Yeah. He will not cry aloud or lift up his voice or make it heard in the street. All right. Does this apply to Muhammad?
Yep.
Okay. A bruised reed he will not break, and a faint burning wick he will not quench.
Yep.
So Muhammad did not break a single reed.
Bro, this is hilarious. He gets cooked right here because this is my cross exam. He's asking me questions on my cross exam.
And he did not.
What's the classical Jewish understanding of that, or are you just saying stuff that you don't have any understanding of? What does it mean when he said?
I'm trying to read it literally.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
trying
the
to read
meaning
it
of that?
literally.
What is the meaning of that verse?
Who said that? Who said we're reading it literally?
You tell me.
No, I'm asking you. It's my cross exam. What does it mean? You're telling me, is this Muhammad? So it implies you know. What does it mean?
I don't know. You
Okay,
are
so
forcing you are forcing Muhammad in the chapter. You are forcing Muhammad here.
We're moving on to the next point. We're moving on to the next point.
All right? You're not
So
able to answer the
did
question.
Jews before
Sure.
the time of Jesus, according to Targum Jonathan and Rabbi Akiba and First Enoch, believe that Isaiah 42 is about Cyrus, a non-Jew, not First Enoch. My apologies. Isaiah 42 is about Cyrus, a non-Jew who comes out of the Arabias as a war leader. Do they believe this?
I don't know who you're referring to.
Targum
So,
Jonathan and Rabbi Akiva in the 1st century.
okay.
The most prominent to name.
Okay,
So
go
I'm
ahead.
saying, of course, the 1st century Jews, did they understand this? 1st century
Again,
BC and AD.
again, we come
Did
back.
they understand about
We
Cyrus the
again
Great?
come
Yes or
back
no?
to this question. We again come
Answer
back
my
to the
question.
question. Yeah,
Every single time I ask the question, you refuse to answer.
I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. We again come back to the topic of the debate. Did Jesus predict the Prophet Muhammad?
So there you go. He doesn't want to answer now. Anytime you go actually in depth and actually converse into the topic, now we're actually conversing into the material that Jesus is using to describe the Prophet Muhammad. He doesn't want to converse because it's not. We're conversing the material that he's using to then establish a base understanding of what he could be referring to before we see what he's even alluding to, because he just says that the Gentile prophet comes after 70 AD. He doesn't describe who this Gentile prophet actually is and what he'll do. We have to look at the passages that he's alluding to and see what the basis of the description of this figure is to describe who it is or to see who it is.
So refusing to answer my question.
and-
But this is a
in-
follow-up and clarifying question. I
In
need you to clarify for me.
in
I need you to
almost
clarify
2
for me.
hours.
Moderator, can you have him answer instead of, or actually, if you're going to refuse to answer, just say you're going to refuse to answer, we'll move on. Are you going to refuse to
In
answer?
our 2 hours of talk, you haven't brought a single verse where
Are you
Jesus
going to refuse to
explicitly
answer or waste my
predicts.
cross-exam time?
Okay.
Which one is it? Are you going to
Wait,
refuse to
wait,
answer or waste my cross-exam time? Moderator,
wait,
you
wait.
can't. Can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
stop
okay,
this
let
time
me
from
just
wasting my
let
time?
Adam and Sierra.
You know,
Let's explain.
I refuse to answer because this question is irrelevant. Go ahead.
Thank you. We'll move on.
Yeah,
He's
okay,
unable to
so-
answer if 1st century pre-Jesus Jews understood this about Cyrus, a non-Jew warlord. Thank you.
It's irrelevant. Go on, please.
Right, it's irrelevant that the Gentile prophet passage is being interpreted as a non-Jew, a warrior like Cyrus and Moses, a man from Arabia's, specifically the Hijaz region. It's all irrelevant that Jesus, who alludes to this passage as a future figure after him, none of that is relevant to Jesus. Nice. Good.
Is John Chrysostom still Christian for saying that the Old Testament has been corrupted in homily?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, like, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy.
9 of Matthew, and that Jesus fulfills this corrupted scripture. Is he still Christian for saying that?
I cannot comment about that. Next question.
Oh, he cannot comment about that. So why were you asking me, why do I think that the Prophet Muhammad, whom be peace, fulfills a corrupted scripture, when John Chrysostom, you can't comment on your own Christians when they do that. You have no response when your own Christians do that. But you're going to criticize me when someone in your own faith does it. I'm justified to do it because people in your own faith already believe in this. So I am completely justified in also believing in that.
Okay, no comment. Once again, that's 2-0 for refusing to answer. Next question. Why does C.E. Hill, a Christian, say that Constantine burned and destroyed all original Christian history and rewrote it? Why does an own Christian saying this about his own history?
You're right. I refuse to answer this. Next question, please.
3-0, 3-0, 3-0. What are you talking about? I refuse to answer. What are you talking about? You said you wanted the source. Now that I brought it, you don't want it anymore. What's
Third
going
question he
on?
refuses to answer in a row. Did 7th century rabbis attribute Isaiah 42 to the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace? Yes or no?
I'm sorry.
Did 7th century Jewish rabbis attribute Isaiah 42 to the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace? Yes or no?
I'm sure you're going to pull up some obscure source, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay, thank you. Does Paul actually coherently fulfill any Old Testament passage that's specified to be about a single individual? If so, where and how? Because you already admitted Isaiah 42 is not about Paul in his original context.
My answer would be the debate is not about Paul, it's about Jesus predicting Muhammad, for which you haven't brought a single point.
Wait,
So
Adam,
this is a
give me second.
comparison
Wait,
point to
Sierra,
show
Sierra,
that have you believe in prophets who don't make any appearance whatsoever in the Old Testament, yet you can still believe they're true prophets. So when I show prophets that are actually mentioned and prophesied by multiple individuals, you have zero
Ooh,
evidence,
look
yet
at
you
him,
can
look
still
at
believe
him.
they're true
He did not like these
prophets.
responses.
So when I show prophets that are actually mentioned and prophesied by multiple
Look at that. He wanted to interrupt so bad. He wanted to interrupt so bad.
individuals, you have zero reason to deny him because you can't provide a single prophecy or reasoning to believe that that Paul is a true prophet of God, the Gentile prophet, when he has no prophecy pertaining to him. Yet you're going to deny the actual Gentile prophet when he actually has multiple prophecies that are explicitly about him. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So do we have any extra biblical eyewitness attestation of someone witnessing Paul receive divine
Oh
revelation?
my
Like the
gosh, bro. Dude, this guy was speechless my entire second cross exam. Oh my
actual
gosh.
Gentile prophet when he actually has multiple prophecies that are
Speechless,
explicitly
bro.
about him. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Speechless.
So do we have any extra biblical eyewitness attestation of someone witnessing Paul receive divine revelation or performing a miracle? And if so, where?
We don't have any extra biblical source.
Okay, and in Sahih Muslim 8a, do we have a massively independent attested event recorded by dozens of independent eyewitnesses stating that they saw the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, receiving divine revelation from the angel Gabriel?
Okay, I don't see how it's relevant to the debate, so next question, please.
Okay, so it's not relevant to the debate whatsoever. Okay. In Isaiah 42, whenever it says, "This is my servant," whenever Isaiah mentions his servant, does he usually name the servant afterwards?
There you go. There's another criterion of establishment. Paul, who claims to be the prophet that's mentioned in the Bible that Jesus prophesizes, he doesn't produce any evidence whatsoever to giving us any reason to believe that he actually has divine revelation from Jesus, whereas the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, comes with all of these proofs that he produces for us.
I'm sorry, come again?
In Isaiah 40, or sorry, in the whole book of Second Isaiah, Isaiah 20, 37, 41, 43, 48, does he always name the servant after he says, "This is my servant"?
There are times he has named his servant, yes.
Oh, okay. And does the Septuagint try to fix Isaiah 42 by saying it's about Israel explicitly?
Okay, let me ask you a question. In what
No,
language
you're
is
not
the
asking me questions.
Septuagint?
My cross
Yeah,
exam. So answer my
yeah.
question.
So the Septuagint is written in Hebrew or Greek?
It's written in Greek. It's a Greek translation of the Hebrew in 250 BC.
So it's a translation.
Right. Which
All
you
right,
think
I
is
rest my
authentic,
case.
the one that Jesus uses. Right. It's also the one that Jesus uses. It's the oldest translation that we have. It's going to be translated from 250 BC. It's the one that your God Jesus uses. So if you think it's inaccurate, then your God is using inaccurate
Okay.
Old Testament scripture.
Jesus,
Furthermore, it's going to be the oldest. It's going to be the
It's
oldest
obvious you
recession.
you have
It's
no
going to be
idea
the
about
oldest
textual
recession.
criticism. It's obvious you
Yeah.
have
Personal attack, that's a logical fallacy. He just personally attacked my intelligence instead of responding to the argument at hand. That's how you know he doesn't have a response. Refuted, conceded.
no clue about this, so don't even talk about it. Don't even
I don't have
talk about it.
I don't have it.
Don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about it. Now he's adamant that I don't even talk about it because he ad hom attacked apparently calling me ignorant on this topic.
Idea about textual criticism. It's obvious you have no clue about this, so don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about it.
I don't have any understanding. You're right.
Because that's a different
And
debate. That's a different debate.
The Septuagint is a copy that's 250 BC, so it predates.
That's a different debate. Then you need to explain it instead of saying I rest my case because you made it open for debate.
Any Hebrew copy that we have.
So it predates the Masoretic text. It predates the Masoretic text, does it?
I think he was genuinely trying to say it doesn't predate it.
Yeah, the Septuagint was translated 250 BC. The
So it
Masoretic
predates the Masoretic
text. The Masoretic text was created 500 to 1000 AD.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sure, go on.
Really, bruh? We serious right now?
Okay. No
Okay.
response. So you do admit that the servant of Isaiah 43, which Jesus. Okay. No
Okay.
response. So you do admit that the servant of Isaiah 43, which Jesus references to in Matthew 22 as being the servant of the Gentiles. In verse 13, he does say that he's a warrior, right? Jesus references to in Matthew. Okay. No
Okay.
response. So you do admit that the servant of Isaiah 43, which is the son of Prophet Muhammad, on whom be.
I want to answer by reading the verse. Let them give glory to the Lord and declare his praises in the coastlands. The Lord goes out like a
Bro, it got so hot in my room all of a sudden. Okay, my headphone just disconnected. That was weird. Maybe it died? Hold up.
To see your reasoning to believe that that Paul is a true prophet of God, the Gentile prophet, when he has no prophecy pertaining to explicitly about him. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. And in Isaiah 40, or sorry, in the whole book of Second Isaiah, Isaiah 20, 37, 41, 43, 48, does he always name the servant after he says, "This is my servant"?
There are times he has time.
450 BC.
So it's a translation.
Use that script. Copy that's 250 BC, 500 to 1000 AD. 43, which Jesus references to in Matthew 22 as being the servant of the Gentiles. In verse 13, he does say that he's a warrior, right?
Verse 13. The Lord goes out like a mighty man. Okay, so this verse 13 refers to Muhammad.
I didn't ask that. I asked you, does it say that it's a
No.
warrior?
My question is, does verse 13 refer to
You're
Muhammad?
not asking me questions in my cross-exam. I don't think you know how cross-exam works.
All right. I just want to answer. I want to answer by reading the verse. I want to answer by reading the verse.
It's so funny, bro. It's like whenever you don't fall into his bum trap of being forced into answering his question on your own cross exam. He just wants to be pity and not actually answer the question.
Let them give word to the Lord and declare his praises in the coastlands. The Lord goes out like a mighty man. The Lord goes out. So it's not referring to a man here. I'm sorry.
Y'all see, even though like he makes these stupid claims, I don't interrupt him. He says stupid things like this, and I still allow him to finish before I speak.
This is a song, and it's talking about the glory of God. So please, quit with the
obviously
twisting.
it's not a
Quit
song
with
because
that.
you're already it's obviously not a song because
It's obviously a song because in verse
Do
glory
y'all see how he just interrupts? Do y'all see how he just interrupts?
of God. So please, quit with the
obviously
twisting.
it's not a song
Quit with
because
that.
you're already it's obviously not a song because you
It's obviously a song because in verse 10 it says.
Stop interrupting me.
In
Stop,
verse
moderator
10.
mute him. Moderator
Yeah.
mute him. Stop interrupting me during my cross exam. This is so disrespectful and unprofessional. So once
Okay.
again, Paul quotes Isaiah 42 and treats it as a prophecy. So you're just calling Paul a false prophet because he clearly thought it was prophetic and not a song. Second of all, when it says the Lord, that's divine agency, that's Shalia, because the agent in ancient
I
Hebrew
love how you
context.
blabber,
Stop
but don't
interrupting
actually
me.
bring out that point.
Adam,
I
stop
love that.
interrupting. Let's
I
keep
love
it
that.
down. Like,
Stop interrupting me.
yeah, let's keep the
Every single time I speak, you have a need to interrupt me. It shows you're panicking and losing. You're on panic mode. So
Sure.
once again,
Sure.
it's a divine agency. Shalia is a
Well, what
first
else is it showing, brother? What else is it showing?
century BCE conception. Okay, this is a conception that predates Jesus. In fact, first Enoch uses Shalia, divine agency, and it's the oldest interpretation we have on Isaiah 42. The oldest interpretation of Isaiah 42 understands this to mean that when it says the Lord will go for us as a mighty man, that means divine agency, and it's Shalia, and the agent is being represented as God's direct representative. Furthermore, we see Rabbi Akiva and Targum Jonathan both use this and apply it to how Cyrus is divinely appointed by God as God's representative to be a warrior who frees Israel of their Babylonian captivity. So the first century Jews use this and understand this to mean that Cyrus the Great has been divinely appointed by God to be a warrior from the Arabias to come in and free Israel from Babylon through war.
Okay.
Can you respond to that?
Okay. Yes, I can respond
What's
to
your
that.
response to that?
Because you are just skipping verses, because in verse 10 it says it's
So there's no responses with it. We're not even going over verses. We were going over its historical precedent. Can you engage?
a song. And the next verse is saying it's not a song. You're
I already
contradicting the
responded to this,
Bible.
but I gotta respond. So Paul's a false prophet then. So Paul is a false prophet because he quotes it as
Okay,
a
so
prophecy.
yeah,
So Paul's a
so
false
which
prophet, yes?
oh so okay, so
Paul's
which
a
verse
false
did Paul
prophet.
so which
Paul is a
verse
false
did Paul
prophet, yes?
which verse did Paul quote from again? Which verse did Paul
Isaiah
quote from again?
49 verse 6 and 42 verse 6.
42 verse 6. 6, not 10. So
49
6 is
and
before
42
10.
verse 6.
Oh, so 46 is before 10 or not?
What's that?
Is verse 6 before verse 10 or not?
Yes, verse 6 is before verse 10. So you're saying it goes from prophetic to song in the same chapter? It just goes from prophecy to non-prophecy?
That's
Does
what
the
the text
consensus of
says.
scholarship say that?
Oh my gosh, bro. Just look at his face, bro. You just know he's embarrassed to say that himself, bro. That is
Does the consensus
embarrassing.
of scholarship say that it's,
That's what the text
that it's a
says.
song and not
That's-
That's
prophecy?
what the text says, guys. Song means it's no longer a prophecy. I didn't know that.
Does the
Read the
consensus
text.
of scholarship say
Read
that
the
it's a
text.
prophecy and not
Read the text. Read
That's
the
the title.
text.
That's the
Read the
title.
text.
That's the
Read the
title.
text.
That's the title. And you're not going to speak over me in my cross exam. I don't know why you actually think you have authority over me in the cross exam. You have no authority right now. You're my dhimmi right now. Stop speaking like you have authority.
Top iconic quote, bro.
over me. You're not gonna speak over me in my cross exam. I don't know why you actually think you have authority over me in the cross exam. You have no authority right now. You're my dhimmi right now. Stop speaking like you have any authority, okay?
Okay.
You don't have any authority in my
Yeah,
cross exam.
I can
let's
see
You
you're
don't have
losing
any
your temper,
authority in my
bro.
cross exam.
I can
Stop
see you're
speaking over
losing
me.
your temper
Stop
because
speaking over me. You're still speaking over
you're
me.
being defeated,
You are
bro.
still speaking over me. Oh
Stop.
my gosh, bro.
Stop.
wait. Okay, let's
By
keep
the way,
the
I didn't even see him do that because I'm not even paying attention to what this clown is doing. That's my
insults
first time
and
noticing he just did
critiques
that.
down
Can
for
you
a
tell him
bit.
to stop interrupting me? Otherwise, I get another minute of time every single time he interrupts me.
Yeah, okay. So there's going to be a few more questions for Sira, and then afterwards we're going to have to move on.
I
to
want
the
him to be
closing statement.
penalized every single time he interrupts me. I get another question.
Sure. Okay, but let's keep
So
the
stop interrupting
interruption.
me because every single time
Yeah,
you
yeah,
interrupt me, I get to ask another question. So this is
yeah.
gonna last
Okay.
forever because at this current rate, you interrupt me every single time I ask a question.
And also, Adam, let me explain to you. So when Sira is aligning with Paul, like because like the prophecy,
What if it's what is the beginning of the verse
You,
say? What does the beginning of the verse say?
yeah, sing to the Lord a new song. And how does that make it not prophetic?
Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that?
Sing to the song sing to the Lord a new song. And how does that make it
Sing to
not
the Lord a
prophetic?
new song. All right.
And
So what
how
is
does
it?
that make it not
Is it a
prophetic?
song or is it a song or not? Yes or no? Simple question. Is it a song or not?
Yes, the song that they're singing is a new
All
song
right.
to the
I
Lord.
rest my case.
I'm
I'm
asking you,
done.
how does that
I'm
make it
done
not
with this
prophetic?
question. I'm done
How
with
does
this.
new
Yes or no?
I'm done with this question. I'm not going to elaborate. We're only going to do non sequitur. Non sequitur city out here, guys. Non
Simple
sequitur
question.
city.
Is it a song or not?
Yes, the song that they're singing is a new
All
song
right.
to the
I
Lord.
rest my case.
I'm
I'm
asking you,
done.
how does that
I'm
make it
done
not
with this
prophetic?
question. I'm done
How
with
does
this
that make it
question.
not prophetic?
Is it a song or not? You said it's a
How
song.
Bro, Christian debaters are genuinely so pathetic, bro. So pathetic, dude. That's your interpretation? Okay. No, sing to the Lord a new song. That, you know what that means? That means it's referring to Prophet Muhammad. I rest my case. I'm moving on. I rest my case. I'm not going to explain how that happened. Non sequitur. I don't need to give any logical argument for my conclusion. Non sequitur.
Does that make it
End of story.
non-prophetic? This is a non
End
sequitur.
of story.
Okay, so it's a
wait,
non sequitur, guys. Apparently, as long as it says the word song, that just disqualified it from being a prophecy, even though first century BCE Jews understood verses 10 all the way up to be prophetic, even though first Enoch understands all of this to be prophetic. There's
It
zero
is.
reason to think
Since
that this
Enoch
is
is man
invalid.
cannot
Why are you
no
interrupting
one
me again? That's another
recognizes.
question.
wait.
It
Zero
is.
reason to think
Since
that this
Enoch
is
is man
invalid.
cannot
Why are you
no
interrupting
one
me again? That's another
recognizes.
question.
Wait,
No one recognizes what? Jude calls the book of Enoch prophecy from Enoch himself. Jude thinks that the first century BCE text actually comes from Enoch, a guy who lived before Moses. What are you talking about? Jesus is clearly alluding to the passage because just like first Enoch, he uses the exact same understanding and interpretation. In fact, he's actually paralleling with first Enoch's text.
Now you got another question added. Thank you so much. Now I get to add another question. That's one tally down.
Adam.
So keep interrupting me. I'm gonna keep on adding tallies to how many. And now I get to add another question. That's one tally.
Wait.
Now you got another question added. Thank you so much. Now I get to add another question. That's one tally down.
Adam.
So keep interrupting me. I'm gonna keep on adding tallies to how many more extra questions I get to ask. You're just selling yourself. Thank you very much.
Right.
This debate's gonna last forever if you keep interrupting me.
And
So,
moderator,
please-
how much time left? I'm asking the moderator. How much
Look at
time
that, bro. So scared.
left? Moderator.
Minutes
My
to
God.
get all
Moderator, save me.
the questions out, but
Okay. How much time does he have left?
about like 2 minutes, because
Okay.
closing.
Does the oldest Jewish interpretation take verse 10 to be prophetic as well, even though it says sing to the song or sing to the Lord a new song? Or are you going to refuse to answer that question?
I refuse to answer this question.
I refuse to answer that question.
Oldest Jewish interpretation.
At 20,
Oh
like
my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. This is so funny. I'm actually gonna go ahead and write this one down, bro. Because this one's I might forget about this one. 150. Oh, that's actually hilarious, bro.
2 minutes, because
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
at 25, yeah, then
Got
So does the oldest Jewish interpretation take verse 10 to be prophetic as well, even though it says sing to the song or sing to the Lord a new song? Or are you going to refuse to answer that question?
I refuse to answer this question.
I plead the fifth, guys. I plead the fifth. Isaiah 42 is not prophetic because it says the words "sing to the song a new," or "sing to the Lord a new song," even though the oldest pre-Messiah interpreters understood that to be prophetic. I refuse to respond and engage with that, though.
I refuse to answer any question that debunks my entire argument, because I know if I answer that the oldest Jewish interpreters before Jesus took it prophetic, it just debunks my entire point. Does the consensus of scholarship, which you were alluding to and using as a reliable source of information earlier, does the consensus of scholarship say that verse 10 is prophetic still, even though it says it's a song?
As I said, I refuse to answer that question. Because
I refuse to answer that question, but then I'm going to ask you questions that are related to the consensus of scholarship.
Question
There's
he
so many
refuses to
times.
answer because it debunks his entire argument. Every single time
Okay.
you ask him a question that entirely debunks his argument, he just refuses to answer. Now in verse 10, when it says, "You who go down to the sea and all that is in it," who's it referring to? You islands and all who live in them?
It's referring to the Lord.
It's referring to the Lord. So
You who goes down and all who is there? I don't know there's multiple gods.
the song here is
Which verse are you from? Verse 10?
Verse 10. Yeah. Well, the one that you
Sing
call
to the
song.
Lord a new
It's
song.
about the Lord.
Okay, it's obviously referring to the people singing the song.
Oh, okay. So the people who are singing the song went down to Arabia's?
Where does it say Arabia here?
Well, not good.
It says the islands. Islands in biblical scholarship means Arabia's.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it does. Show me a biblical scholar who says
All
it
right.
doesn't mean
All right. Go ahead.
that. Correct.
What's your
I'm
point?
correct. So
You're
who are
wrong.
these people that went down to?
People
Oh my gosh, saying stuff he can't back.
singing the song.
Oh, okay. So the people who are singing the song went down to Arabia's?
Where does it say Arabia here?
It says the islands. Islands in biblical scholarship means Arabia's.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it does. Show me a biblical scholar who says
All
it
right.
doesn't mean that.
All right. Go ahead.
Correct.
What's your
I'm
point?
correct. So
You're
who are
wrong.
these people who
You're
went down to the
wrong.
Arabias
You're
to sing a
wrong.
new song?
You're wrong. You're
Stop
wrong. Go
interrupting me.
ahead.
That's another point. Okay, that's another question.
What?
It says the islands. Islands in biblical scholarship means Arabia's.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it does. Show me a biblical scholar who says
All
it
right.
doesn't mean that.
All right. Go ahead.
Correct.
What's your
I'm
point?
correct. So
You're
who are
wrong.
these people who
You're
went down
wrong.
to the Arabias
You're
to sing a
wrong.
new song?
You're wrong. You're
Stop
wrong. Go
interrupting me.
ahead.
That's another point. Okay, that's another question I got to ask because he interrupted me again. So once again, who is the people who are singing a new song here to the Arabias? In the Arabias.
It does not say Arabia's here. It does
It
not.
says
It
islands,
just
which
doesn't.
biblical scholarship understands to be Arabias. The Hebrew as well just means Arabias.
Where does it say
It's
islands? Because
translated as
in verse 10 it says, who go down to the sea and all that fills it, the coastlands and their inhabitants. Read
okay,
it.
you're reading a different translation. Coastlands and islands, they both just means the Arabias in the same Hebrew. Coastlands, islands,
What
whatever,
version are you
Hebrew is
using? What version are you using?
I'm reading NIV.
And okay. Whoa.
Like, bro. Islands, coastlands. Oh my gosh, it changed so much. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Why don't we stick to a word-to-word translation?
Whoa, I'm reading the NIV. Brother, I just said in the Hebrew it says Arabias. I'm appealing
alright.
to the Hebrew.
Let me pull up let me actually pull up the Hebrew because
I'm sorry that
you've lied in the past. You've lied in this debate about the Hebrew. I'm just gonna pull up the Hebrew because all you do is lie. All you do is lie.
Another clip.
So
Thanks for that
let me
clip.
just pull up
Thank you
the
for that
Hebrew.
clip. 153 to 54. Thank you for that clip. Oh, 35.
So in the Strong's lexicon, it reads coastline. All right?
Right, and
It
what's
reads
the Hebrew word? What's the
Speaks
Hebrew word?
Nisos.
What?
He's making things up, bro. Like, this
Show me on
is
your screen.
crazy.
Yep.
The
yes,
Hebrew
sir.
word, what is it?
It's Nisos or
It's
Ayi.
Iyem, coming from Goyim. It's Iyem coming from Goyim. What are you saying,
And
brother?
it's
Dude, there's no word here. Where is he getting the word?
Brother, I'm right.
It just says E. What is he doing?
Ian, okay.
Yeah.
Isaiah 42.
Okay.
From the coastland.
Ian. It's
Brother, I'm right here.
Em from Goyim.
Ian, okay.
Yeah.
Isaiah 42.
Okay.
From the coastlands, Em, which means Goyim. It's talking about the nations of the coastlands.
Okay.
So
Okay. You refuted me, so it turns out you weren't lying.
I wasn't wrong. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about.
All right. I don't know what I'm
Hey,
talking about.
Brother, I want to let you know if you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about.
All right. I don't know what I'm
Hey,
talking about.
Brother, so
What?
I wasn't wrong.
What did he say?
You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about.
All right. I don't know what I'm
Hey,
talking about.
Brother, I want to
Okay, I think he conceded to being
let you know
wrong here. I'm not
if
sure.
my
though.
argument was so simple to be destroyed as all you have to do to go to Bible Hub to refute it, I obviously wouldn't be making an argument that you go to Bible Hub and you can refute it that simply. Okay? I don't know why you think I'm like genuinely stupid.
All right. So where?
I forgot to say this because this number one interrupter goat loves to interrupt me. I forgot to say this, unfortunately, in the debate. Benson commentary also says that it means Arabias.
Does it say Arabia here? That's my question.
Yeah, because island coastlands here, EM means the Arabian coastlands because they're contextually speaking.
Okay,
here,
that's-
Isaiah 42.
that's what you're imposing
Stop
on a text.
interrupting me. That's another
You're
question.
imposing that on a
That's
text.
Another question. Thank you.
You're
That's two
imposing that
questions
on a
you have
text.
now because
Wait.
you're still
Let's
interrupting.
again.
The
We're
entire
jumping.
context of Isaiah 42 is how the Babylonians are currently, or sorry, the Israelites are currently in their Babylonian
Moderator.
captivity, and they're all.
Moderator, is this a
Why
direct
is Sky
examination or is it his statement? Because all I see is he's just repeating his
Well, I
point
asked you a
without.
question, and every time I ask you a question, you refuse to answer it. That's not my fault.
He's
Also-
You're imposing that on the text. But wait, so where does it say Arabia here? That's my.
So he asks me a question. I'm on my cross exam, mind you that on my cross exam, he asks me a question. I proceed to answer it, and what does he do? He gets mad that I answered his question on my cross exam.
They're
Embarrassing, bro.
captivity.
Pathetic.
He's just repeating his
Well, I
point
asked you a
without.
question, and every time I ask you a question, you refuse to answer it. That's not my fault.
He's okay. Technically, Adams. Technically, it is his turn. It is his cross examination, meaning he can ask question. But again, like we can't keep refusing to answer question because that defeats the whole point of.
No, he can.
Yeah.
It just shows that. It just.
Oh, bro, that's bad. That's bad looks for you. That's another clip. You got the moderator telling you that, hey, bro, you got to make yourself look a little bit better. You got to answer some questions, bro. You got to answer some questions. It's bad when the moderator is telling you, hey, bro, make yourself look a little bit better. Make yourself look like you came a little bit prepared.
Shows that he's losing. It's okay. He can avoid every question he wants to. Avoid.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
Yeah, but let's.
It just shows that he has an inability to answer questions. It's all.
Because again, you're not even connecting to our topic. Our topic was that did Jesus predict Muhammad, and
It
you
doesn't matter if
completely
you think
skipped.
that I'm connecting to it or not. That's not what it's up for. I'm trying to get a point across, but you're just refusing to answer my question. So that's okay.
All right.
You refuse to answer my questions because you're unable to. That's okay.
All right. Sure.
Well, what else would it be? If you could answer it, you have unlimited time to answer questions. You're not under any time limit whatsoever. So if you could answer the question, you would. You're refusing to, even though you have no time limit whatsoever to answer. Shows you're unable to answer. Otherwise, there's just simply no reason to not answer it.
Okay, so I guess since
Likewise is why I was answering his questions on my own time.
we're running a bit late.
I do have 3 questions, Phil, because he was interrupting me. I technically do still have more questions.
All right. You can ask 3
so-
questions. 3
Okay,
questions
so
is fine.
last 3 questions, and then we're gonna move on to the closing statement because we're kind of running, overtime
Okay.
now. So
Of course, a Christian.
He's more so Christian, according to according to historians, the historical Jesus, is he more so Christian or more so Muslim?
Of course, a Christian.
He's more so Christian, according to which historical Jesus scholar says that?
According to
Yep.
history, bro. Come on.
Which
Like, what's
historical Jesus
your
scholar says
criteria for this? What's your criteria for this?
a historical Jesus scholar like James Gunn, James Tabor? I can name you 2 historical Jesus scholars who say that the Islamic Jesus is the historical Jesus, not the Christian one. Can you name me just one?
Okay. Okay. How does it tie in with our argument?
Okay,
Because I
doesn't want to answer my
I
question.
told you in the messages that I would be debating the biblical and historical Jesus. Did I not? Did I tell you that in the messages?
That's not the topic, is it?
Did
Okay,
I tell you in the
so-
messages? The topic would be the biblical and historical Jesus.
Okay. Okay.
I
Next
don't
question.
think you know, but you can't tell me what my
Okay, next question.
own topic is, brother. This is my topic. You can't come here and tell me what my own topic
I
is.
asked you for a simple topic.
That's
All
like
right,
me
right.
coming over to you and say, no, you're not Kenrick Adam. You're someone else. What kind?
Alright,
What
go
are you
ahead.
saying right now? That is
Okay.
ludicrous.
Okay,
It's
next question.
absurd what you're trying to tell me right now. It's actually
Okay,
absurd.
you know you got cooked, bro. Come on. Go ahead. Next question.
How did I get cooked? Well, I'm just talking about the title right now. We're not even arguing on the topic. I'm just telling him what the topic was, and he's telling me I got cooked. Yeah, I got cooked on telling him that to check the DMs. I got cooked on that.
Let's see. So, according to historical Jesus scholars, does the historical Jesus proclaim divinity or view himself as divine?
Yes, he did view himself as the one.
The historical Jesus viewed himself as divine?
Again, we're changing topics from the debate, but sure.
Well, not at all, because the debate was the biblical and historical Jesus.
I love your topping talent, if you will. It's really the classic Muslim style. You keep jumping from topic to topic.
Not a classic Muslim style. I told you in the DMs it would be the historical and biblical Jesus. Now, can you answer or are you going to refuse to answer? Stop wasting time and just tell me if you're going to refuse to answer.
John 8:58.
Yeah,
Before
John
Abraham
8:58
was-
isn't going to be historical for any gospel scholar. But actually, go ahead. I'll just go ahead.
Brody quoted John 8:58 on a formal live debate. I actually was so surprised he actually was willing to say that.
And grant it's historical. Go ahead.
Before Abraham was, I
Gotta
am.
cook him
So
on
they
John
picked up
8:58.
stones to stone him, and Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple.
Oh, and that's apparently a claim that he's God? They stoned him for blasphemy, and John 8:58 isn't a divine claim because it's not a reference to Exodus 3:14, because in the Septuagint, Exodus 3:14 says ego emi ho on. Ho on is the divine title. John 8:58 in the Greek, it only says ego emi. The blind man in John 9:9 also says ego emi. It's clearly not a
Again,
divine title.
you're making a claim to the Septuagint. You're making
That's
this
another question. Interrupting me, that's another question I get to ask now. So
again.
if the author was trying to make Jesus look divine here, he would have made sure to use the divine title to actually attribute divinity to him. Saying I am is not a attribution of divinity. And second of all, I asked you.
What is this bot saying, bro? The gospel authors use the Septuagint redaction. They don't use the Hebrew. So they would be looking if the gospel author John was trying to make a reference to Exodus 3:14, he would have said ego emi ho on, because what he has access to in his hand says ego emi ho on. Exodus 3:14 for John says ego emi ho on. It doesn't say I am who I am because he doesn't speak English, and he's not reading it in Hebrew. He's reading it through the Greek recession.
Historical Jesus scholars think that the historical Jesus called himself divine. No historian thinks that the Gospel of John is historical because it's an independent, anonymous gospel that fails to meet the criterion of dissimilarity. We have no reason to think it's historic.
Yeah,
So I'll ask you again, does the historical Jesus, source? Did you say source?
Yeah, sources. That would be cool.
Yeah, Bart Ehrman, I don't remember the other names on top of my head, but I can pull it up. It'll just give me a couple minutes. Let me pull it up. Dale Allison, the Christian scholar, says that that the Gospel of John does not meet the criterion of dissimilarity, and he's a Christian scholar saying that.
Right. So earlier you appealed to Jerome.
Yeah.
Boom. I don't know, bro. Like I'm very confused. Is he still asking me questions on my cross exam?
Did Jerome hold John as canonical or not?
Yeah, he did, but that's not my.
So we can go back and forth with different scholars. We can go back and forth.
Yeah, well, the point of understanding was
Because
contingent on the
debate. That's not the debate. That's not the debate. That's not the debate.
Wait, let's not-
Authenticity of the text. So what
That's
you're
not
doing
debate.
is you're falsely conflating the authenticity of a text to an interpretation of a text. I
Oh,
was showing an
so
interpretation of the
You
text.
you
The
you quoted the
interpretation of
Septuagint.
is false.
You quoted
Continuing to interrupt me on my own cross exam, bro. Amazing.
the Septuagint.
Using Jerome to try to appeal to the text of John being authentic is a conflation and is not analogous. It's
Okay,
disanalogous.
so you quoted the
Next title.
Septuagint. You quoted the Septuagint.
Yeah,
The
doesn't mean that I
Septuagint
believe
is
it's-
the
that doesn't mean that I
Septuagint is
believe the
what?
Septuagint is
Yeah, I
reliable.
got that. The Septuagint is a what? It's a Greek translation of the Bible, right?
Yeah.
All right, we agree on that.
Yeah.
So it's a translation.
Yeah, it's also the one that Jesus uses, right?
No, to answer
It's
the
the one
question,
that
it's the
Jesus
translation.
uses, right? Yeah, I'm
Answer the question on my own cross exam.
not answering your
Not
questions on my cross exam. You're my dimmy boy. I don't have to answer any of your questions. Stop coming up here and thinking that my answer. Yeah, it's also the one that Jesus uses, right?
No,
My demi boy.
to answer
It's
the
the one
question,
that
it's the
Jesus
translation.
uses, right? Yeah, I'm not answering your
Not-
questions on my cross exam. You're my dimmy boy. I don't have to answer any of your questions. Stop coming up here and thinking that I have to answer questions on my cross exam. You're my dimmy boy. I don't have to answer any of your questions. Stop coming up here and thinking that I have to answer your
Okay,
questions
wait.
on my cross
Yeah,
exam.
let's.
So-
yeah.
So you need to answer mine. Sorry.
Like, I can see you're losing your temper. That means you're losing the argument. It's so clear.
Right. If that's the case, then interrupting one must mean that you have lost the argument, right? If that's the case.
Interrupting is clarification, and well, you're just talking
So I'll
blatant
interrupt you
lies.
every single time to clarify myself as well. I'll do that as
All
well.
right. Okay, how many more questions does he have, moderator?
Where does Jesus claim to? Actually, that's not important. Where does
Yeah.
Jesus prophesy Paul as being the Gentile prophet?
All right. Let's go to Acts.
I asked where Jesus, not where the anonymous writer, which is supposed to be Luke, the physician of Paul says blah 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 blah.
That's
Ask
not
where
Sure.
Jesus says so.
Acts isn't the words of Jesus. So where does Jesus do it?
So Jesus established apostle, did he not?
I'm asking you, where does he prophesy Paul as being a true Gentile prophet?
Can I ask the question back?
Nope.
Then I can't answer your question. Then I can't answer your question if you keep hopping. Like,
Nope.
then I can't answer your question.
Then I can't answer your question if you're trying to lead to a point.
Then I can't answer your question if you keep hopping. Like,
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I need to set up a debate next time where people are not allowed to be able to refuse my answer. We need to do that. And next time I have a debate with this guy, I will be doing where if people interrupt on your cross exam, that's an added 30 seconds you get to your cross exam, and you only get a max limit of 3 refuses per debate. Otherwise, you're required to answer every single question and how I word it. So if I word it to a yes or no, you have to answer with a yes or no, and then you can elaborate and explain yourself. Because this guy just dodged every single debate or every single objection.
kangaroo.
If it's to clarify what I'm asking for, sure. But if it's to ask me a question and to see if I want to answer it, then no, I'm not going to answer it. If it's to clarify something, then yeah, sure, I'll answer.
It's a clarifying question.
Yeah.
So Jesus established apostles, did he not?
He establishes his 12 disciples, yes.
He established a church, did he not?
I don't think that's authentic in the way you do. He establishes Peter as his church, not Paul.
Okay, so he establishes Peter as his church.
Yeah.
So Peter is authentic. We're not talking about an authentic apostle.
Yeah.
In Acts, does Peter accept Paul as one of their own?
Acts isn't authentic, and that's a self-claim from
Okay,
Paul.
so you're going to
being
pull
written by Luke.
everything.
I'm answering.
You're going to say everything is not authentic, right? That's your point.
Let me answer why. Because Acts is written by Luke, the physician of Paul. He's writing what Paul tells him. It's a self-claim. It doesn't mean that Peter actually did. Rather, it means that...
Why is he laughing about that? When I use self-claimants for my prophets, you're going to just reject it. Why would I accept a self-claimant from Luke, who's actually anonymous? It's not even actually from Luke.
Paul tells this to the author of Acts, and the author of Acts write that down. That is not proof. That's a self-claim. You sound like you're a Muslim. What about the Prophet Muhammad when he claims to meet the angel Gabriel in the cave? I guess you must believe that now because self-claims are true. Wow. I didn't know self-claims are evidence. Wow. Where's the evidence?
Okay, so
where's the
Luke,
evidence?
so Luke has a self-claim. Because all the things are under the assumption that since you're building all of it. Let me finish.
You don't need to finish. It's my cross-exam. I can cut you off whenever I want in my cross-exam.
Let me finish. It's my class.
I don't need to because it's my cross-exam. I can cut you off whenever I want. That's how the cross-exam works.
All right, finish what you want to say.
You just admitted that Jesus never makes any prophecy to affirm Paul as being a Gentile prophet of God, yet he has an unfulfilled prophecy.
I did not admit it.
Okay, then where is it?
I made it very clear that Christ established a church, and the church, they accepted Paul.
Go ahead and show it to us where he affirms Paul as being the Gentile prophet in the prophecy.
No, I understand the logic you're trying to bring. Since Jesus,
I understand the logic you're trying to bring. I'm not going to bring it. Instead, I'm going to deflect and do something else.
Just
Show that,
never-
please, and show that, please, and don't deflect because you're wasting my time.
All right.
I understand you set up a church.
If you can
Stop speaking. Do what I ask for or refuse to answer.
if you can shut up for a minute, let me finish. Could you be silent for a minute? 1 minute, just 1 minute. Is that
No,
so
I can
hard?
speak whenever I want during my cross-exam. So answer my question.
No. Could you be silent for a minute?
There you go. He doesn't have an answer. There you go.
If you're not going to be quiet, I'm not going to answer. If you're going to talk over me, I'm not going to
That's
answer.
another question.
If you're not going to talk over me, I'm not going
Now
to
I gotta
answer.
ask another question because you spoke over me again. Thank you.
No, wait, Sarah, we can't keep adding questions because he needs to.
Yeah, but he keeps interrupting me. So, like I said, every time he interrupts
You don't make the rules, buddy. You don't make the rules.
I mean, the moderator did agree to about Adam's.
Okay, so when was the Book of Acts written?
I believe 70 to 90, 80,
When was Paul killed?
67, 80. So
I don't have anything else to.
What do you mean you don't have anything else to say? When did Jesus die, according to you? 35 AD. When was the Pauline letters written? 45 to 65 AD. When were the Gospels written? 90 to 110 AD. What was this doing for you? What did this do exactly for you?
I really
Right.
don't have anything else to say.
Right, exactly. So the book of Acts was written after Paul. So
Died.
during the lifetime of Paul, it was written after.
So according to you, Paul dictated it, and you just agreed that Paul did not dictate it. So unless he's a ghost,
He dictates it by memory the same way Jesus dictates the four Gospels by memory, unless you think that the four Gospels are making up quotes of Jesus and they're actually just they're just inserting words into his mouth. I didn't know you were an atheist. I didn't know you were a historian, actually.
Unless Paul is a ghost dictating it after his death,
No, I said it's a self.
it doesn't make
He
sense.
tells this to the author of Luke, or sorry, the author of Acts, and then Acts writes that down based upon what
Okay.
Paul told him.
All right, what's the next question?
Are you like good? Do you think Paul can't speak to
Moderator,
you 3 years
can
before
we
he
move to
died?
the next question?
No.
Moderator, can we
Yeah,
move to the next
I'm-
question?
Moderator, I don't wanna listen to the person whose cross-exam is. I don't wanna listen to him.
Because this is getting ridiculous. This is getting.
I'm asking
Okay.
another question. So you're telling me your argument is because Paul died in 67 AD and Acts was written in 70 AD, the author of Acts didn't just wait 4 years based upon what Paul told him and then ended writing that up? Because I hate to break it to you, sir, the four Gospels all come decades after Jesus. If you're trying to use that as an argumentation for Paul not dictating, then hey, guess what? I guess Jesus did not dictate the Bible.
All right.
The words in the Gospel
All right, I got cooked.
dictating, then hey, guess what? I guess Jesus did not dictate the Bible.
All right.
The words in the gospel are not from Jesus. Those are made up words that come decades after Jesus, using your argumentation. Because apparently, a book coming 3 years after someone dies means those quotes are all fabric or not
No.
dictated from.
I was
by
asked,
memory.
again, you're deflecting.
So
You're
there you go. I'm
deflecting.
done now. We can move on.
I'm deflecting. He said, moderator, next questions.
All right.
Okay, wait. Let's.
For the
All
open.
right, I'm gonna listen. I want to listen to my closing. It's just 3 minutes, and then we're gonna go and actually listen to what he was saying. In his
To
goals.
be generous, I can give 4 minutes. Do you think?
All right, here we go. So I want to make things very clear, guys. In the DMs, I told him multiple times this would be about the biblical and the historical Jesus. My opening started with saying I will be affirming the Quran from the biblical and historical Jesus. This entire debate, Adam has denied me every time I've talked about the historical Jesus because he knows that the historical Jesus and the man-made Christian Gospels are not the same. Historical Jesus scholars like James DeBoer will say that the historical Jesus fits the Islamic teachings, whereas the Christian one does not. Historical Jesus scholars like James Noah will say that you can never find a Christian concept of the Messiah in the Old Testament, but you surely could find the Islamic concept of one. Now, he never responded to any of my points proving that he is the Gentile prophet found in the Old Testament, which Jesus is therefore using to dictate the Gentile servant in Matthew 22. He had no response to Daniel saying that the servant comes after 400 AD, after Rome has divided. No response to the fact that Daniel and Jerome both say that King Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom is King Nebuchadnezzar's, even though King Nebuchadnezzar is long dead. Jeremiah in 23 to 25 says that the Babylonian kingdom is King Nebuchadnezzar's, even though King Nebuchadnezzar is long dead. Apparently, a dead guy is owning a kingdom, according to this guy right here. So failed on that one right there. No argumentation whatsoever. There was zero objections to anything about Isaiah. He said I made up it being about Ahmad, and then I asked him, do 7th century Jews say that it's about Ahmad? Upon it, he said, I don't want to answer that. I asked him, is the servant of Isaiah 42 being described as a non-Jew Gentile warrior who brings a new Torah law, upholds it song like Torah? His response was, I refuse to answer that first question. I refuse to answer your second question. I refuse to answer your 3 questions. He went 3-0 for refusing to answer questions on Isaiah 42. And then he wants to make the claim that I'm not showing any prophecy. Well, no, I am showing it. You're just refusing to engage in the material that I'm showing it because you know it absolutely refutes your argument. He tries to say that Isaiah 42 isn't even prophetic. It's a psalm. Okay, then Paul is a false prophet because he quotes it saying that it's a prophecy. In fact, the earliest interpreter of it, First Enoch, which Jesus uses, and the book of Jude considers to be prophecy of Enoch himself, the oldest interpretation of Isaiah understands this to be all prophetic, the entire chapter. So what his gospel authors considers being attributed to Enoch himself, he is contradicting. He is contradicting his prophets. He's contradicting his gospel authors. He was unable to refute anything in Matthew 22, unable to show how Jesus affirms Paul as a Gentile prophet, unable to show any prophecy where Paul is affirmed as a Gentile prophet in the Torah, where I've shown the prophet Muhammad being prophesied in Daniel 2:7, Isaiah 42, and Matthew 22, and Paul contradicting all of these, and Jesus contradicting Isaiah 42 and Daniel 2:7. He cannot be a fulfillment of those. Neither can the church, because the church happened to come before 400 AD. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so
Boom, boom,
Uh,
boom, 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 baked. My gosh, bro. All right, I'm gonna. He
So-
gave me
The
like,
topic of
his
Muhammad
closing was actually just continuing to
is a
argue.
prophet. He went to Isaiah 42 saying that the Hebrews say Ahmed,
Yeah, bro, this is emoting on.
but there's not a single scholarly consensus that it does say Ahmed. So I'm sorry, that's a very, very weak exegesis.
Oh, I didn't know it's. You need scholars now all of a sudden to affirm this.
Now, to further go, when we see Isaiah 42, it talks about the servant being gentle, opening the eyes of spirituality, and making a new covenant
The Prophet Muhammad actually opens the eyes of the blind, just like Jesus performing miracles. He's a fulfillment of
for the
that.
people.
That's
This-
why I was laughing right here.
Clearly applies to Jesus, not Muhammad. It's a very, very, very
Yeah, the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, does the exact same thing in hadiths.
dumb argument. And the 7th century Jews who you quote from later converted to Islam. Come on, bro. You're really
Yep. We have multiple independent reports on that. Multiple independent reports on that same exact event. Let's pull it up. Just for fun, we'll pull it up. You know what? We'll pull it up just for fun. Check it out. We have it in here. Found right here. And found right here. So there you go, bro. We have multiple independent attestations on this report from independent hadith collectors.
going to take them seriously. All right. Overall, what I could see is all bro was doing was he was trying to go back and twist verses, take them out of context. He took Daniel out of context. When I questioned him on the on whether the little horn actually means.
Well, he already admitted that Daniel can't be fulfilled by Jesus because he said that it's not about his earthly coming, but it's about his second coming. Then I already asked him, well, does Daniel say that the Roman Empire or that the kingdom of God will end the Roman Empire? He said yes. Well, the Roman Empire ended in 1453. Last I checked, Jesus wasn't here before 1453. He can't be a fulfillment of that.
Constantine or his kingdom. At first he said Constantine, then he said his kingdom. He clearly knew that he got cooked, but he just wouldn't admit it. I just find it sad that rather than answering questions, he's just did a lot of skipping from
rather than answering
topic
questions.
to topic and a lot of diverting. And I think it's sad. I know he's laughing. And I think if you watch the debate again, you can clearly see that I asked the audience just one question. Did he or did he not prove that Jesus included a typical Dawah script? And I think I just find it sad that you believe
Typical Dawah script.
in this. But nevertheless, I just want to close with this one single statement.
If it was script, I would have just been dodging questions, right?
The main problem with Islam is that God just forgives your sins. We know that God.
All right. Ezekiel 18, God forgives their sins.
I have Christian commentators doing this, so I'm actually just affirming the Christian belief already. I'm not distorting it. 7, it talks about a little horn who comes out the fourth empire. This is going to be referring to Constantine. He's a little horn different from the rest of the other 10 kings. This king tries to subdue the laws, he subdues 3 kings, changes.
Okay, I'm going to go over this, guys, just because I have videos on Daniel, explaining Daniel. If y'all want to listen to my explanation of Daniel, just watch
Even very nice kings, he's different from other kings because he was a holy people of the Most High. Holy people, I have to explain how he oppresses the holy people. This is on top. He's the little horn, and he's going to be oppressed for that long, for times and times and times from Constantine. And
Something new. I've never heard that story before. But let's just go back to. Let's see it verse by verse, because I understood your strategy. It's all about talking confident and quoting a lot of verses without actually reading in context. Why don't we just go to the chapter? So according to you, Daniel chapter. Let's go from Daniel chapter 7. Is it fair to go from Daniel chapter 7?
that's good.
All right. Okay. So in Daniel chapter 7, it's talking about, again, the fourth beast, which refers to Rome, right? Thus he said, for the fourth beast, there shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all the kingdoms, and it shall devour the whole earth and trample it.
Okay, we got
Christians.
this. Okay, bro. I couldn't care less to hear his cross exam, bro. It was so pathetic. I'm gonna just skip to all of the decent points he makes and just refute.
Bishops who disagreed with him on exile, he would
By
imprison
decent, I mean god awful.
bishops who didn't agree with his homoousios
Give
doctrine.
me the receipts.
He's contemporary
Oh,
Christian
that's
records.
why. So that's why I brought up C.E. Hill and why he says this about Christian history, because he asked for the receipts. I brought it up and then he got mad.
According to history.
So he does not. Constantine himself accepted Christianity at his death.
So he's asking how Constantine oppresses Christianity if he legalized it.
So he does not fit into this criteria at all.
Yeah,
Not
he
at
also
all.
burned
Not-
contemporary Christian records, according to historians. He also threatened to force to force bishops who disagreed with him on exile. He would imprison bishops who didn't agree with his homoousios doctrine.
Give me the receipts.
He's-
Give me the
Yeah,
receipts. Give me the receipts.
I got you.
And I got you with the receipts, my boy. And I got you with the
Okay.
receipts.
And according to you,
I
Constantine
believe
spoke
it's
words
C.E. Hill
against.
who says this. I'm pulling it up right now. It's C.E.
Wait,
Hill. who
yeah.
says this.
Let him show the
Yes, sure.
Yeah,
yeah, the
we
documents
got
first.
the mod out here. Go
And
mod.
then we can move on to your next question.
Just trying to
Adam.
move on while I'm showing the source.
Pulling it up one sec.
Yeah.
In the early period, as only apparent the illusory product of a post-Constantinian Christian largely successful attempt to destroy contrary evidence and rewrite history. According to historians, did Constantine's church destroy contemporary ancient Christian history and rewrite its history? Yes or no?
Right, that's not the common consensus, is it?
That's not a
Oh,
common
okay,
consensus.
well, yeah.
Yeah, because you're just quoting some random person. You never,
Oh, okay.
you're
So
not
I'm
going
making
for
things
common
up until I
consensus.
quote a scholar. Okay.
You're
C.E.
not
Hill's Christian.
appealing to the common
C.E. Hill is
consensus.
Christian. C.E. Hill is Christian. Why is a Christian lying about his own religion?
No,
No
that's not a
comment.
question. You're not appealing to the common consensus. You're just
I'll ask you
making,
that in
you're
my
just putting
cross
some random. All right, sure, sure. Okay, so according to you, Constantine did persecute
And then I asked it in my cross exam. He went, okay, sure, knowing full well he's just gonna go, no comment.
Christians, and he spoke words
And
against
Jews,
the Most
that's
High.
the more important thing. I don't even think Christians are the holy people. It's the Jews he also is known for persecuting as well. He is known for persecuting Jews.
Okay, so how did Constantine speak words against the Most High?
By bringing in heretical doctrines like homoousios, which not a single church father for 350 years believed in. There isn't a single church father from Ignatius, Clement, Irenaeus, Justin Martyr, Origen, Tertullian, whatever, who believes in this doctrine that the Father and the Son are co-equal and co-eternal with each other.
Okay, that's another argument. I wish I could get into that, but we don't have time for it. But coming to Daniel 8:25, let me read the last two lines. And talking about Constantine, according to you, and
Daniel
shall think
8
to
or Daniel
change.
7?
Sorry, Daniel 7. I'm sorry. Daniel 7, verse 25. And shall think to change the times and laws, and they shall be given into whose hands? Into the little horn's hand for a time, times, and half time. So, according to you, Constantine lived for 350 years, according to your own logic. The little horn refers to Constantine. Wait, let me build this up. The little horn refers to
What do you
Constantine.
mean, wait, let me build this up. I'm not speaking.
And Constantine spoke words against the Most High. He wore out the saints of the Most High, and it was given to him for time, and half times. According to you, time, and half times is 350 years. And so, according to you, Constantine lived for 350 years and oppressed the people of God. After which, according to verse 26, he met judgment. Bro,
All right, you want my response?
come on,
You want my
come
response?
on. Yeah,
All right,
come
now
on,
watch
please.
this. You're going to get baked, guys. Watch this clip, okay? Daniel, he tells King Nebuchadnezzar that his kingdom, King Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom, will be taken over by the Persians. Specifically in Daniel 8, he says that it will be taken over by Cyrus the Great. However, King Nebuchadnezzar was long dead by the time that Cyrus the Great took over the Babylonian kingdom. Even Jeremiah refers to the Babylonian kingdom as King Nebuchadnezzar's, generally speaking. When it says that it's going to be
Okay,
said,
you did not answer my question. You did not answer my question.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
So when it
Let's
says
move
that it's going to be put in his hands, it's talking about his kingdom. When it
Verse
refers to a
three,
person's
verse-
kingdom, it always
verse-
talks about them. It's talking
Can I
about
get the
him being-
verse? Can I get the
him-
verse?
I believe it's Daniel. It's Daniel 8.
Yeah, guys, terrible argument. Oh, so is Constantine living for 350 years? Yeah, well, Daniel and Jeremiah both say that a dead guy owns a kingdom. Wow. I didn't know dead guy King Nebuchadnezzar can own stuff while he's dead in the grave. Does he own a kingdom? I didn't know dead people can own kingdoms, right? So clearly someone can have a theological ownership or theological rulership over something in terms of authority, name, titling. General authority doesn't mean that they have to be alive. Furthermore, what oppresses the holy people? It's going to be the laws that the little horn uses to set up. So, of course, the little horn is oppressing him for 350 years even afterwards, because laws don't just disappear after a person dies, which I already said in this video too. He had no response for that. The law of Constantine didn't just go away once Constantine died. They still kept his law. So of course that's the case. The only time they were that would have stopped being oppressed is when the transfership of the kingdom came over, because at that time it was clarified and made clear that the homoousios doctrine is heretical. Up until then, there was no clarification. It was never revealed divinely. And so they were oppressed and put into his hands for that period of time until the kingdom of God came, transferred over, ended Rome, and brought monotheism from where all of the previous four kingdoms were.
Verse.
So in Daniel 2, I think verse 31, he says to King Nebuchadnezzar that your
According to you, the little horn, does it represent Constantine's kingdom or does it represent Constantine, according to you? Few minutes back.
Right, it represents Constantine. Likewise, okay, I'm gonna just go to it.
like I said, Daniel tells King Nebuchadnezzar his Jeremiah in Jeremiah 22:25, he were flung dead. So he's not even owning this kingdom anymore, yet Jeremiah still refers to it as King Nebuchadnezzar. So yes, you can own a kingdom in title. So when it says that the little horn, they were oppressed by the little horn, they were oppressed by him and his kingdom and his authority that he gave, what he had left on earth.
Okay,
There you go.
Daniel chapter 2, verses 38, 37.
So then it's like, it's his kingdom, it's his kingdom.
I agree with that.
Come on, bro.
I'm
Get
not
the
saying
point.
it's supposed to be Constantine, okay?
Yep.
Because what does the word say?
Please.
So that one king is supposed to be the little horn.
Right.
Okay? And according to you, by your interpretation, in verse 25, this one king, not kingdom, is supposed to live for 350 years.
This is such a terrible argument. You see how he said this one king, not kingdom, because he takes the little horn to be a whole kingdom. It also says the little horn subdues 3 kings that come from the Roman Empire. I didn't know the Roman Empire is subduing 3 Roman empires.
Nope. I didn't say he has to live for 10
All
years.
right,
Daniel
see,
said this is
you're just contradicting yourself. All right,
No.
it's obvious that you're just going to keep contradicting yourself. So let me go to the next
Nowhere does
question.
Daniel say that it's going to be living for 350 years.
Okay.
He says he changes the set times and laws, and because of that, they will be a precedent to his hands for 350 years because of his
Given into
laws.
whose hands? Into the
Last
king's
time,
hands?
do laws just get removed after a person
No.
dies? No,
No, the
laws
question-
still stay in effect after a person dies.
No,
Because
that's-
laws still apply onto earth after the person is gone. So the person's authority is still on earth, even though he doesn't have to be
Okay.
on earth. Likewise, Jeremiah and Daniel both think that the Babylon is under King Nebuchadnezzar's authority, even though he's been long dead and in the grave. So just because Constantine isn't alive doesn't mean the law set in his authority isn't under his law and his authority. Those laws were implemented by him and is under his burden. Last I checked, if I make the law, not you, you're not going to be judged for a law that you had no participation in. Constantine made that law according to God, the most just God. He will pay the burden of anyone who he oppresses, even if it's after his life, because it still had to affect him with his laws. Like what?
Cook, bro. Oh my gosh, cooked. Like, what kind of argument is this, bro? I create the Jim Crow law. It's set up for 300 years. You think I'm gonna only be punished and judged for the Jim Crow laws that were in effect while I was alive on Earth? That the punishment is going to take an effect for all of the influence that my law I have created has set up, bro. What is this dude on about?
Okay, fair enough. But what does it say in the text? You're bringing a good framework. I'm not denying that you're bringing a good framework. But what I'm saying is, what does the text say? What does the text say?
So he explicitly says it's laws, it's authority.
And what does the next verse say?
Yeah,
And
I
they
like how he said he's not denying my argument. Actually makes legitimate sense.
still be given
He
into
just doesn't wanna
his
refute it.
hand
Right.
for
So
a
he
time,
can't
times,
refute
and
it.
half
So
a time.
my
So
reading
they're
is coherent. He admitted my reading is coherent. It makes sense.
supposed to be in Constantine's rulership. So as Christians, we don't believe that this is referring to a king, but rather to a kingdom. That's
Well,
our
no,
belief.
you're wrong. Jerome thinks
Yeah, he's wrong. Christians don't think that. Jerome thinks it's about a Roman emperor. So no, he's wrong. No, you know what's very strange about this though, guys? What's very, very strange about this? Apparently, the king. Where is it? Okay. So this king right here, who's after the 10 kings from the Roman Empire, this kingdom, who's a little bit different from the first ones, but he's still a king. Likewise, these ones. There's not 10 Roman kingdoms from the Roman kingdom. That is unintelligible. And he subdues 3 kings. I didn't know he subdues 3 Roman kingdoms from the Roman kingdom. What does that even mean? Unintelligible is nonsense.
it's referring to a king. So no, you're wrong.
He said this with such seriousness too. It's crazy.
I'm sorry, come again?
Jerome says it's referring to a Roman king. You're wrong. It explicitly says multiple times a king will come and arise and subdue 3 different kings. Is a king subduing 3 kingdoms? What's going on? It's a kingdom subduing 3 kingdoms? It says a king will subdue 3 kings. It's referring to a human king who subdues 3 other kings. Unless you're saying that now the Roman Empire is subduing 3 Roman empires. What are you saying? That's such a contradiction. You're telling me, what do you mean fair enough?
Fair enough, dude. The whole I don't know how long he was doing this since 47 minutes, was he not? Like
Fair enough. Then your entire point just fell. It's obviously
No.
referring to a human king. Thank you so much.
But
Fair
fair
enough.
enough,
What are you saying, fair
I'm
enough?
sorry, but fair
Your
enough, I did
whole
not agree.
argument
Right,
fell.
Wait,
let me
yeah.
see.
And when is it
Let
my
me
turn for cross, by the way? It's been like 20 minutes.
facts.
Yeah, let Adam finish this point first, and then we'll move to
Literally.
Right.
Kira's question, like cross question.
Right, but fair enough,
been
I did not
crossed
mean
since 47.
your point was fair, but I'm saying that what you said is fair enough, but I was about to counter that. Right? So again and again, we're going on this one loop where I say that you said it's referring to a king. And then you're just changing it to mean a kingdom in the later part of the verse when it suits you. When it suits you, it's a king. When it doesn't suit you, it's a kingdom. You understand how you're contradicting yourself, don't you?
When did I ever say that?
I want to close it with just one last question. If indeed
He said he was going to refute it. He's not refuting it.
it is referring to a future prophet or a
Okay, maybe
future,
it is. Oh, no.
um,
No.
I mean-
That's because I was going to give my response. Does it proceeds to not give a response?
messianic figure or something. Why don't the apostles or early church fathers ever speak about an upcoming prophet? Why? That's my question. Or
They
do
do.
they speak about it? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, Sierra, you
Yeah,
have to say
Jesus
something.
does. The apostles does. Actually, historically speaking, the apostles do. I can quote you like 5 scholars who say that the historical Jesus preaches about a prophet coming after him. It's only later Christians who reinterpret this and understand it to be the Son of Man being about Christ. But we even have Bart Ehrman says that the historical Jesus preaches about a prophet coming after him. So the historical Jesus would, and I can give you the books and references for all of that.
Yeah, but where does it say so in the Bible? That's my question.
Yeah, I didn't say the Bible is authentic.
I didn't say that, my guy. You're not paying attention to what I said. I just said the Bible reinterprets that to be about the Messiah. Were you not listening?
For that. So you said the disciples. The Bible is not a teaching of the disciples. Those are anonymous, independent gospels, which were written much after the disciples, and they were first named in 180 AD by Irenaeus, and even his teacher Polycarp didn't know them by the 4 names. They're not from the disciples.
Oof.
They're first named in
He didn't like
180
that.
AD by Irenaeus,
He did not like that.
and even his teacher Polycarp didn't know them.
That's a clip right there, bro. 107.23. I'm gonna have to write that one down, guys. I'm just marking a bunch of clips. 107.20. What is this? Clipped on apostolic Jesus teachings. Oh my gosh, bro. That's another clip.
Written much after the disciples, and they were first named in 180 AD by Irenaeus, and even his teacher Polycarp didn't know them by the 4 names. They're not from the disciples. You said
All
from
right.
the disciples, not the imaginary gospels.
I could refute that so bad, but that's not the topic of the debate, so let's not get into it.
Oh, okay. Well, then refute it real quick.
Okay, so
So,
that's your question, then?
How much time do I have, bro? Moderator.
You to reply to his question, you have no time limit, basically.
So
no,
it's his,
for Mike.
For me.
He's asking for his cross.
Yeah.
I have more. Do I have more minutes, or is my time up?
No, you have time. You have time. You have.
Okay, I have time.
Yeah.
All right. How much time do I have left? Based on that, I could ask some questions.
So if you wanna like take a
we drink
you wanna
water at the
ask
same time.
a question, right?
Yeah.
For the question part, like you can ask for like pretty much 3 minutes.
No, but he's asking how much time.
Sorry, I don't know why I didn't cut this.
Because what I told you the topic would be.
No.
And what I messaged you the biblical and historical. Don't be lying now. I'll pull up the screenshot.
No.
I told you
No.
it's the biblical and historical. Don't.
No, the topic is
Because what I told you the topic would be.
does
biblical and
Jesus
historical.
prophesy Muhammad? That's the topic. So my
Right, the
question to
biblical and
you is
historical Jesus.
no. That's not the topic,
listening?
brother. That's not.
Yes.
that-
Yeah, so if we're saying Jesus, what do you mean by that? Do you mean the real Jesus or do you mean the made up Jesus? You see, you have to specify. You can't just say Jesus and then expect me to think that means the fake made up Jesus. Oh, I thought you were talking about the real one. I didn't know. So
Not a topic.
That's what I
stop playing
told
these
you on
games,
Instagram.
bro.
Why are you lying?
That's why I explicitly say things in detail so that won't happen. That's why I said 3 times I'd be talking about the biblical and historical 3 times, and he agreed 3 times.
Lying, brother.
And that's why I also said it in my opening too.
told
No,
you the
the-
historical and biblical
no,
Jesus.
listen,
My
listen.
opening said the biblical and historical Jesus. Why are you
Right.
My opening said that. You can't change my
Okay.
opening.
You're cooked.
That's my
You're
opening.
cooked.
What is this, sir? Why do I say that the biblical and historical Jesus prophesy him? And you said, and you agree. Word title.
Get me the verse.
I
Actual
got you. The
bot.
historical Jesus prophesies the Prophet Muhammad multiple times whenever he mentions the Son of Man who comes in the glory.
No.
of
Get
Let
the,
This is when God Logic joins in, by the way. God Logic joins up over here, right around here. I'm actually gonna put that in.
Get the verse.
I'm still answering.
Adam, let him finish first.
All right,
so
Verses
here
like
is-
Mark 8:38, for example, where Jesus says that the Son of Man is actually let me make sure that's the correct verse. And something to be most glorified. When we look at the word Ahmad in Aramaic or in Arabic, it's going to be most glorified. When we look at glory here in the Hebrew, is going to be doxo.
I said I said Hebrew there, but the word doxos is clearly not Hebrew. Anyone who has any knowledge in Hebrew knows that the word doxos makes no kind of Hebrew-like sound. That's a clear Greek word. I don't know. You could have
When
caught
you look at
that
the lexicon, it's going to be most glorified. When we look at the word Ahmad in Aramaic or in Arabic,
Oh, he got mad. He didn't like that. He didn't like that.
it's going to be most glorified. When we look at the word Ahmad in Aramaic or in Arabic, it's going
Okay.
to be glorified.
So,
The historical
which is the
Jesus
worst-
is
which
like
is the worst-
prophet.
which
I'm
is the
still
worst?
answering. I'm still answering.
Which is the
Wait,
verse?
wait,
The
let
verse.
him finish first, Adam. You'll have your turn. You'll have your turn. Yeah.
So the historical Jesus preaches of a Son of Man who is not Jesus, who comes after him after 70 AD, who comes as the name of Ahmad and most glorified, which is Ahmad. So yeah, the historical Jesus talks about a
Oh,
future.
give me the verse.
prophet.
Give me the verse. Give me the
I already
verse.
did.
The
You're not
verse.
listening.
Get-
8:38.
Matthew 8:38.
Mark 8:38.
Okay, Mark 8:38. Let me read the words. So according to you,
He didn't even want to talk about this stuff. I was prepared. I was prepared to go down on this, guys. The reason why we know Mark 38 isn't even referring to Jesus, I'll go ahead and pull it up. Oh, sorry. That's going to be found over here. Okay, when we look at Q, this is also the one that Mark, or, Mark uses some kind of quotations of this. So does Matthew and the other, later Gospels, right? So when you see here, it says Jesus, but obviously in the Q and stuff, Jesus would just be read as Son of Man. Okay, so whenever you see Jesus, just understand it as Son of Man. It's just been interpreted to be singled out here by Burton Mack because he understands the contention here. Now, if the Son of Man is just simply Jesus, right, we would see that it would be read here. You see it composed as Son of Man. 12:8. Whoever confesses the Son of Man before men, the Son of Man will confess him. So first of all, this is very confusing. Whoever confesses Jesus before men, Jesus will confess him. What? Okay, whatever. And whoever denies the Son of Man, he will be denied in the presence of angels and whoever, okay? He will be denied in the presence of the angels if he denies the Son of Man here, okay? The next exact verse, it says the word and here. This is a conjunction. This is what Burton Mack says. It's a conjunction to verse 9. It says, and whoever speaks a word against the Son of Man, it will be forgiven. But whoever speaks a word against the Holy Spirit, it will not be forgiven. So what's happening here is that Jesus says, if you deny the Son of Man, angels will not forgive you. But then he says in verse 8 right after, if you deny the Son of Man, you will be forgiven. If you will be forgiven, then why are angels not forgiving you here? And in fact, they're denying you here. That is a clear-cut, blatant contradiction. Therefore, we can conclude, based off of this clear contradiction, the eschatological Son of Man, who will come in the glory of the angels and will confess to the angels, so that way they will deny or confess in him. This Son of Man figure is not Jesus, the Son of Man, and is rather a distinct futuristic figure.
in the original Hebrew. By the way, the New Testament wasn't written in Hebrew, it was written in Greek. Just a little history lesson for you. All right, Mark 8:38.
You're not listening because I said don't up to text. The same way that John Chrysostom agrees that Jesus Christ is the fulfillment of the
Appeals to the common consensus.
How does Jesus fulfill a corrupted scripture?
You asked
John
me
Chrysostom
how,
says he
and
does too.
I answered you. You asked me how can you fulfill a corrupted text? The same way that John Chrysostom agrees that Jesus Christ is the fulfillment of the corrupted Old Testament. In that exact same sense. Okay, a lame response and say that has nothing to do because I told
this is where God logic joins.
you that's the historical Jesus I will be talking about. Your inability and inability to engage with that is just disingenuous. It's kind of sad, honestly. It shows that you're unwilling to engage with this. Nobody thinks that the Bible is historical and that the Bible records the historical Jesus.
Wait, add that.
Yeah, would be getting into his computer, like his.
What's good, God Logic? Why am I quoting it? Because I'm quoting that material, okay? Because Mark is just using.
God logic is asking me why I'm quoting Mark 8:38 and trying to say it's historical if I don't agree with Mark. That's because Mark is gathering authentic Jesus material and just reinterpreting it for his own narrative purposes. But we can say that the core saying of this verse at its core material, maybe not as literative with the psalm writings and everything that Mark uses, because we see it's all lacking in Matthew. Every single time that the author could be, or not Matthew, in Q, Matthew and Luke, every single time we see that the author of or not the author, but the Son of Man sayings that it could have the literative inclusions that Mark has and has the area for that. It consistently never has it. It never has any of this literative speech. So we wouldn't say it's as deeply explained with Psalm language and maybe not even the Danielic language to its highest extent. But we would say that at its core meaning, not in the same interpretation that it has, would be authentic. Even the same for the suffering Son of Man sayings. We have the Christian scholars like Dale Allison and Tucker Ferda, which I'll actually pull it up right now, who say that the eschatological teachings of Jesus have been largely fictionalized. They've been completely pervious to fictionalization. And he says that the suffering Son of Man sayings, he says right here, rather that Jesus was speaking of his general resurrection and stuff like this. His coming was a way to speak generally of his return during the general resurrection, okay? But rather they thereby created a more realized eschatological saying, and they put their belief in the lips of Jesus in the forms of explicit prediction of his suffering and resurrection. So we can understand these verses to have a general authenticity to him from Jesus, but the interpretation that Mark, Matthew, and Luke has, these are clearly developed 40 years minimum after Jesus, and it's developed eschatological traditions that we see lacking in the oldest, readings of the gospel material that we have, like Colonel Thomas.
Using the authentic Jesus
Wait,
material and
wait,
reinterpreting
wait.
it for his own reasons, God logic. It's not that hard, God logic. What are you saying, God logic?
Wait,
It's because
before
Mark is using authentic Jesus material and reinterpreting it for his own reasons. What are you saying? You can't make this up. It's not very hard to understand that. When we look at how the Son of Man is referenced in Q, it's always referenced generally speaking. And we all know that all of the sayings of the Son of Man come at a later stage of Q. It comes after 60 AD. The Colonel Gospel of Thomas doesn't have it. So those are all later additions into Thomas, but there are into Q. They're not fake quotes. They're still authentic. They've just been reinterpreted because they come at a later stage post-Easter tradition. What are you saying, God logic?
Boom,
wait,
clap.
what's
And then
going on?
God
Yeah.
got really mad when I said that. He said, "Come into my live, come to my live,
God logic,
come to
like
my
I said,
live, come to my live."
Mark is just using Jesus material and reinterpreting it. Any suffering Son of Man saying is not authentic. He's just using Son of Man saying material. Have you noticed how Q doesn't have any suffering Son of Man sayings? Whenever you look at Matthew and Luke, whenever they refer to the suffering Son of Man, they only expand on Mark's statings. Like Matthew 20:28, for example, is a verbatim copy.
Let's pull this up. Sorry, guys, I wasn't thinking, so I wasn't like prepared to give these verses on hand. I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry. I should have said this. Look at this, guys. All of the suffering Son of Man sayings are just verbatim copies. When we look at them, they're just expansions of Mark. Okay, they're just expansions. None of the suffering Son of Man sayings are found in Q, but rather is just Matthew and Luke copying off of Mark verbatim to keeping the same literary style. Like Mark, this right here is verbatim. There's no difference with Mark 10:45 and Mark 20:28. There's not even a single word difference here. There's not even an expansion. It's just the same thing.
Copy of, I don't remember which Mark verse. I think it's Mark 9 or something. Sound in Q. Those are all from Mark. How convenient. What are you talking about convenient? This is what the independent historical scholarship has to say. This is what
The consensus of scholarship, by the way, as 2023 and 2021
Hey, can I
says.
just really
Now, anyways, guys, as you can see, that was clearly the end. This is back to just my cross
bad
exam,
it gave out my
The
you tried to use the Gospel of John to justify your
which we already went over. So that's going to be this whole video done. I actually can't believe I just finished this myself. That was quite the sit through I just had to go through to watch that. Yeah, I hope you guys learned something from the debate, and especially the debate review. Upon reviewing this debate, I can most clearly say most definitely he got utterly baked on this topic, utterly. The first 20 minutes, his only point essentially that he wanted to bring up as to prove that there's a prophet was proven unreasonable, standard that he can't even meet himself. Then in around 45 minutes, we went ahead and proved his unreasonable standard. I can prove it for my prophet. He can't prove it for anyone in his religion. I think in 120 or 2036 or 120 he was utterly refuted on either Daniel or Isaiah. I know I refuted him on both, but yeah. Expect a bunch of clips coming through for the next 2 weeks or something. But if you guys appreciate this video, guys, be sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment on something that you found interesting, guys. I'm gonna head out now. Peace out.